Roland, a wilderness guide, aims to endure 100 days solo in the Arctic Circle. He sees his chances to eat anything he scavenges, even unappealing socks he's cooking. The ants on the nearby tree trunk, though containing trace elements like iron, zinc, and magnesium, are a bit tricky to eat as they retaliate by biting his tongue. Yet, no one can resist the temptation of this high-protein, juicy meal. To catch more ants, he even uses his axe to tap the wood, hoping to find some stragglers. After breakfast, Roland makes his way to the lake, aiming to find a moose, which would put him ahead of the other contestants. As an Alaskan hunting guide, Roland spends his days studying prey and traps and chopping wood to show his passion for nature. Joining the Survival Challenge is not just about the $1 million prize. He wants to prove himself as the ultimate wilderness machine. However, after searching, he finds no moose, but plenty of bear tracks, though these are months old. If conditions allow, steaming bear paws wouldn't be out of the question. While examining the tracks, he unexpectedly discovers a bundle of discarded fishing line in the nearby grass, likely left by a contestant from the previous season, which brings him great relief, as he lacks this tool. If he can make or find a hook next, he'll have another way to secure food. He scouts the coastline for the best fishing spots, when suddenly a wolverine charges at him. Wolverines are highly aggressive, emboldened by their reputation as fierce predators. It aims to make this outsider its prey, but in the next moment, it turns tail and runs, realizing Roland is armed with a storm axe and has boldly declared that if it dares to come again, it will not leave unscathed. Kylan, a female contestant, knows that hunting is not her strong suit, so she sets up 7 traps every day to gather food. As long as she catches enough, she has a very good chance of winning the championship. While checking the traps, she sees some spruce branches, which had various uses among early Native Americans, such as medicinal or as glue, but chewing the branches was more of a substitute for gum or to help soothe sore throats in winter. However, Kylan definitely can't stand the taste. She needs a rabbit to change her palate. Back home, Kylan is a winter adventure guide. She has survived for 15 days in minus 40-degree conditions. She believes handling the Arctic conditions is manageable, and her husband fully backs her self-challenge, also taking this opportunity to showcase the resilience of women. When things pile up, they eventually transform in quality. In just one morning, Kylan's trap quickly caught a big, plump rabbit, but the sight before her made her feel very sad.
It's such a small guy. So awful.
Seeing such a cute rabbit about to become her meal, the uncontrollable tears slid from the corners of her eyes back to the shelter. To avoid being overwhelmed by sadness, she ate 2 large bowls with tears before calming down. Joe, who came from the countryside, has an innate affinity for outdoor life, so he grew up to become a biologist. Compared to women, he prefers to spend time understanding nature, knowing which plants are edible. He can tell with just a taste. Meanwhile, extreme outdoor challenges are his greatest joy, and if he can win $1 million while doing it, winning $1 million would thrill him. As Joe explored the area for a campsite, Joe accidentally stumbled upon the Canadian Shield Rock, which is also one of the oldest exposed rocks on Earth. Since he hasn't learned archery, he is the only contestant without a bow and arrow. However, he hadn't gone far when he spotted a squirrel on a big tree. If he had a bow in hand, wouldn't that squirrel be dinner? But Joe didn't want to miss out on such a fine meal, so he picked up some stones and transformed into a human catapult. If he hit the mark, the squirrel might lose more than just its head.
Oh, I got it.
Well, this maneuver truly opened my eyes. I must admit, Joe's skill is impressive. He can precisely hit tiny targets. As Sean exited the helicopter, his 100-day Arctic survival challenge began. His gear had been delivered by the crew the previous day. Seeing the scratches on his suitcase, Sean knew a black bear had left them. He wasn't alone in this wilderness. At least one bear was also here. Sean wasn't ready to face off against a black bear, so he quickly grabbed his gear and exited, praying he wasn't going the wrong way. Heading towards the bear gathering area could spell immediate disaster for him. To boost his chances of winning, Sean honed his survival and construction skills at home, mastering tools like wooden rakes and large forks. He crafted traps easily. His skills were exceptional. They're confident about the challenge. As I mentioned in my commentary on the 7th season's champion episode, this season, most contestants are motivated by the $1 million prize. After moving, there are noticeably fewer trees in this area. It significantly lowers the risk of meeting a black bear, but for full safety, to stay safe, thoroughly scouting the area is crucial. Right now, Sean relies heavily on his bow and arrow in northern Canada. Suddenly, he stops in front of a large tree. He paused his busy steps, drew his bow fully, and shot an arrow at the tree. A dark shadow instantly fell from the tree, unexpectedly revealing a plump little porcupine. Such a creature is a rare find in the wild, making for a dreamlike start. Sean was thrilled. He had expected this challenge to be really difficult. It seems like having hands is all you need. Friends who often hunt know that Arctic porcupines accumulate up to 50% fat in the fall. Preparing for the snowy mountain winter, Sean unexpectedly seized the fat that had been carefully stored for a year. On day 1, Sean snagged 20 pounds of protein, a feat other contestants could only dream of. Once he handled the porcupine, he quickly prepared American-style smoked meat. He chose pine wood for the smoking rack, boosting the meat's flavor to its best, and it carries a hint of woody fragrance. Once everything is ready, the next step is to start a fire. The Arctic's perpetual cold and dampness struggled with flint, got the fire going. It needs to roast slowly overnight. Food sorted for the week, so tonight it's stewed pork leg for me. Eating meat like this, a beer, and some cumin would make it perfect. You'd almost forget you're in the Arctic. Is this truly a survival challenge? It's almost like a holiday in the Arctic. A good meal only fueled Sean's resolve to stay the course. He covered the used iron pot with mud to deter black bears from snacking at night. However, as night fell, his daytime worries came true. He heard the clattering sound of his metal pot being disturbed nearby. First, he dismissed the idea of the porcupine's ghost coming back, suspecting it was a bear or wolverine instead. Afraid of a nighttime attack, Sean gathered his courage, grabbed his bow and arrow, and cautiously make his way to the shore, flashlight in hand. If he could land a perfect shot on the predator, he might just score a bearskin coat. Upon reaching the spot, he saw the pot lid had been knocked down, and the sound of an animal running was sharply audible to his ears. Opportunity for surprise attack lost. At the shelter, Sean was wide awake. Worried that a bear might pull a sneak attack, sleep seemed elusive. Joe, from the south, decided to experience bathing in the Arctic today. Although it wasn't officially winter yet, the Arctic water was about 3 degrees, and the cold made him shout with excitement. So he climbed out, looking pixelated, not sure where he picked up such a bad habit. To survive until the 100th day, he needed to start storing enough food for the long winter. With his innate plant intuition, Joe swiftly found coral mushrooms on the ground, which solved the issue of scarce antibacterial resources. Catching a grouse, then dinner would be delightful. But as he continued searching for food, Joe suddenly stopped.
Oh, there's a bear.
Now Joe faced 2 choices. Either hide and continue eating grass and mushrooms, or boldly enjoy bear meat. Stubborn Joe didn't want to miss this opportunity, so he chose to confront the bear barehanded. Seeing this, I thought, oh boy, he doesn't even have a weapon handy. Is he planning to invite the bear to cook like Hannibal? But as he chased it to the peninsula, the black bear lost the trail. Joe claimed he scared it to its den. After a few days of getting used to the environment, Jilin is set to begin her shelter construction. She planned to build a large house for the next 100 days, but the idea of minus 40-degree Arctic cold sent a chill through her. She opted to construct a cozy cabin, thinking it was the best way to secure the $1 million prize. Jilin is confident her skills match any man's. She used a lot of logs to build the basic framework, then filled the gaps between the wood with moss, making it resistant to cold and retain heat. She then added a thick layer of pine resin, creating a double-layered insulated outer wall. And the rabbit hanging at the entrance proves her clever trap strategy was successful. Finally, she crafted a small door for the shelter, completing a cozy and warm little cabin. There's no doubt this little cabin is solidly constructed. All she needs now is a reliable food source to clinch the title as the first female solo champion. With the cabin set, all that's lacking is a bathtub. Joe, fueled by youthful vigor, isn't fazed by the Arctic winter, so he hasn't started building a permanent shelter yet. He believes the priority is to gather enough food, to gather food early for later stages, while also trying to lower his daily energy use. Joe set traps over the past few days, and a rabbit got caught today.
Holy I got a rabbit. Oh, thank God.
As per the show's tradition, you must drool a bit before eating. Although this little rabbit isn't very big, it's Joe's first time catching prey with a trap. Just as he was getting into the mood, he discovered another one nearby. What a surprise. No need to fake it. He snagged 2 rabbits on this outing. Tonight's feast is certain. Days ago, Sean ate a porcupine and caught a bear's attention. Sean's been holding on to a bear horn to sleep at night. He lasted 10 days before feeling safe enough to construct a shelter. fitting for a survival video blogger. A finely crafted wooden cabin shelter suits his style. Cabin size shows he's set on winning the prize, and his crafted Thor's hammer is impressive, as if he is Thor's human embodiment at this moment. It's uncertain whether this hammer will aid him. After a hectic morning, his hunger pushed him to eat. But as he looked around, he couldn't find the equipment he wanted, but he did find plenty of discarded gear, such as iron balls, shattered jars, and an old hunting rifle from decades ago. He stumbled upon an abandoned boat. Discovering such items in the wild can enhance his wilderness experience. But you wouldn't guess what Sean plans to do. He plans to turn the abandoned boat into a bathtub, aiming to enjoy a wilderness soak. For Sean, after 10 days without a shower, having a place to soak in the cold Arctic Circle is a true luxury. After filling the boat with water, he then lit a fire on the boat. He turned himself into a hot pot, with the aroma possibly tempting a curious black bear nearby. It might be surprised to enjoy a wilderness hot pot in its lifetime, and never find such a taste again throughout the Arctic Circle. After his wilderness bath, Sean experienced a unique wave of comfort. Back at camp, he intended to whip up a tasty meal as a treat, but upon checking his pocket, his fire starter was inexplicably gone. It's the 10th day of his solo wilderness adventure, and he never expected such a rookie mistake to happen to him. Sean instantly panicked when he couldn't find it after rummaging through his tent and clothes. His last memory led him to the spot where he bathed, prompting him to carefully retrace his steps. For Sean, life in the wild meant driving away beasts and using the campfire for light and defense, depending on him. In the wild, fire is crucial in Arctic winter with temperatures plummeting below zero. Without it, survival is impossible. Sean initially enjoyed himself, but eventually broke down. Some friends may not understand. Despite having various ways to survive, Sean admitted he wasn't skilled at starting a fire by friction. Given the damp climate, after much deliberation and hesitation, he reluctantly used the satellite phone he had hoped to avoid. Catching a hefty porcupine on day one felt like a dream come true. It's a real shame to leave due to losing the fire starter. If he had another shot, he'd avoid such antics for fleeting pleasure. After expressing his views on camera, Sean gathered his belongings and was the first to leave the competition this season. I think he'll be glad he left once this episode airs, as the other contestants are legendary. Up next is Corey, who's equally remarkable. Corey grew up in a family of hunters, picking up real skills from his ancestors early on. To further hone his abilities, he joined the Marine Corps for 4 years. He gained a soldier's resilient spirit and honed various survival skills. Corey's confidence in this competition is evident. Observing his careful and cautious demeanor, it's clear that small animals are in danger. As he lets an arrow fly, the squirrel lay peacefully on the ground, soaking up the sun. Up to now, each contestant has unique skills, making the upcoming challenges hard to predict. Corey, drawing on his military survival skills, opts to manage things by the lakeside, away from camp. He set up squirrel traps around the area to keep wolverines and black bears away. Being a bachelor, Corey promptly whipped up a tasty meat stew upon returning to camp. It offers vital nutrients and guarantees no food is wasted. In this intense wilderness challenge, any factor can directly impact one's pace in the competition. So Corey has put a lot of effort into building his cabin. The shelter's prototype before us is the result of over a week's work, featuring not only a solid wood bed, but also a small kitchen inside. It's a tidy A-frame, with moss filling the gaps between the sticks for added strength. This design keeps the shelter safe from the biting winter winds. This meticulous design reassures viewers at home, making them feel cozy. While building is somewhat tedious, it promises warmth when the Arctic winter hits. With the framework done, he still has to use logs for the roof, and Corey's days are getting better. While daydreaming about spending the prize money, he unexpectedly fell into a pit while carrying materials. After a dull thud, Corey got up, enduring the pain, convinced that his strong willpower would see him through. Don't give up $1 million over a minor injury. 13 years ago, he thinks the fall might have reactivated an old knee injury from past surgery. Corey remains optimistic about bouncing back from this setback in the next challenges. After enduring days of pain, Corey spent a long time searching for prey near the camp, hoping to give his knees some relief. But his innate hunting skills had no opportunity to be put to use. He opted to shift his strategy and aim to source food from the water. After all, using a gill net could help him conserve energy. Having placed the gill net at the shore, he planned to find food, but before he could walk far, the hunger pangs made him stop in his tracks. Unable to hunt successfully, he opted for berries as the best choice for now. Once done, he headed back to the lake, hoping the gill net would deliver, looking rather pitiful. Feeling a touch of sympathy, the lake spirit let a fish get caught in the net when he pulled it up.
Holy, it worked.
Corey was thrilled, more than on his wedding day. As he hurried back to camp with the 5-pound lake trout to cook up a pot of fish soup. After facing challenges, Corey finally savored a protein feast for the first time. The succulent fish meat made him eagerly take a bite, and the satisfaction at that moment was beyond words. Eating it all was the greatest honor he could offer. But just as Corey hoped things would improve, he was surprised when his knee issue worsened, creaking constantly as he walked in the days that followed. A sizable cyst formed behind his knee, and if it kept swelling without easing, the swelling posed a serious threat of infection and possible amputation, and he was having feverish nights. Corey wanted to prove he had the ability to survive, but as a young man, he didn't want to risk lifelong disability for money. After much deliberation, Corey decided to call for rescue.
There's something wrong inside my knee. I'm a long ways from the finish line, so I can't risk my future for this show. This is Corey. I'm officially tapping out.
By day 12, 2 participants had already exited the competition. Remaining in the Arctic are Roland, who relishes his berry snacks, Joe, who caught 2 rabbits, and Jilin, who is skilled at trapping prey. The next episode will feature the other 5 contestants who will endure to claim the $1 million prize. Remember to like, subscribe, and support my channel. I'll keep you updated next. You might not recognize Roland's name, but anyone who's tackled a bull solo knows him well. Legendary time he confronted a 900-pound bull with a knife. You'll surely be amazed. This singular, authentic feat, Roland truly deserves the title of Ultimate Survival Warrior. On the first day of his arrival, Roland set a goal worth $1 million. The first urgent issue to tackle was undoubtedly a shelter that could last over 100 days. Arctic Circle's temperatures plummet to -40 degrees in December. He opted for the toughest and most demanding construction method. Thus, when Roland lifted this 180-pound long dormant boulder, it marked the creation of the toughest shelter ever seen in wilderness survival. He opted for large stones to construct a stone house for heat-retaining walls. These stones absorb and hold heat as outside temperature falls. The heat stored in the stones is slowly released, providing some warmth indoors. Keeping the indoor temperature steady, the insulation can last several days. This characteristic is unmatched by wooden houses. Imagine, when winter hits and snow swirls outside, it's as cozy as spring inside. You're sipping warm tea and enjoying a sizzling grilled steak. The feeling is indescribably satisfying, but enjoying it comes with a huge cost. As long as a slight oversight could lead to being injured and forced to retreat. Despite the risk of a lifelong disability, Roland, the ultimate wilderness machine, is unstoppable in his quest for victory, despite numerous challenges. Following a strenuous afternoon, the food storage framework starts to form. This rugged style perfectly aligns with Roland's usual bold and expansive image. Besides building a safe and warm shelter, securing ample food supplies is also a crucial task at the moment. Although Roland has not yet caught any protein sources, he won't overlook any edible berries available. He intends to keep the berries in tree trunks, letting nature air dry and dehydrate them. When dehydrated, the berries lose a lot of moisture, which keeps them good for more than a month. They can act as backup food supplies and offer some sugar. Even if big game isn't caught, these berries can sustain survival for several days. The collected berries include 3 types: cranberries, blueberries, and the rarer sorghum berries. Sorghum berries offer medicinal benefits, aiding in heat relief and inflammation reduction, giving Roland added health security in the wild. Time flies, and it's already the 7th day. After 2 days of meticulous crafting, the smoke vent for food is finished, now set up. Even during the harshest winter, with the fire constantly burning indoors, there's no need to worry about carbon monoxide poisoning. Once the chimney is completed, the shelter construction officially enters the second phase. To match the scale of this massive food supply, Roland picked logs about 20 centimeters thick, each weighing over 90 kilograms, to match his massive food supply. At first glance, his stone house appeared to be the largest shelter ever built on the show. The group's impressive shelter is featured online after viewing 12 episodes of the series. I never thought chopping wood would result in a whole back room. Roland's skills just keep getting better. However, every time Roland moves the massive logs, it requires all his strength. Among the participants, perhaps only Roland, the wilderness machine, has the stamina for this task. Building the stone house requires 90-kilogram logs. Minimum 10 must be gathered. Unlike others who completed the challenge, while others focus on winning the prize, Roland's approach is geared towards sustainable living in the Arctic Circle. His shelter standards focus on practical needs for long-term living. The project's physical demands are significant, so the rest is planned for the next day. As a former Marine sniper, Mark, who served for 10 years, knows what is most important in the wild, so he immediately wove a net. And over the past 6 days, Over the past 6 days, the net has consistently yielded 7 large fish, and today, unexpectedly, it effortlessly provided 4 more.
To tell you how happy I am.
It shows that his decision was wise, ensuring a continuous food supply before the lake freezes. Faced with today's abundance of fish, Mark must build a fireplace specifically for them. To prevent a fire hazard, he needs to stack the stones as high as possible. Mark aims to avoid forest smoke to prevent 15-day detention. Mountain fire, Chief's admiration, crescent bulge and center, convenient for grilling steaks, while the top hanging net is perfect for hanging the 4 freshly caught fish. Smoking and drying the fish is the smartest way to store them right now, allowing him to pull ahead of other participants when the lake freezes. Surviving is the only way to win $1 million. The next challenger is named Amos. As a native Indian, the years of war in his homeland, he mastered wilderness survival skills, becoming proficient in camp setup, gathering, and hunting. His goal in the competition is to win the $1 million and improve his family's situation. Enhance my son's education through this 100-day survival challenge. Amos wisely chose a gill net, which provides him with a reliable source of food. The challenge has eased. I noticed a flash of white in the water. Amos, driven by hunger, quickly hauled the gill net to shore without hesitation. Seeing his target, he quickly performed a seamless move, keeping his pride in check. Excited to display his catch to viewers, he held up a 10-pound northern pike. Don't be fooled by its appearance. This is not the well-known pike. The northern pike thrives in saltwater, unlike the freshwater pike. Such a substantial catch can provide several days of stability. While some show their gratitude for nature's bounty with tears, he prefers to engage in another spiritual cleansing. As Amos wrapped up processing the fish, he noticed a wolverine suddenly appear from the hillside nearby. The wolverine looked at Amos, as if to say, "I've had enough raw meat. I also want to taste what grilled fish is like now, but call me when it's cooked." This guy is a notorious camp killer, so it seems I'll have to be extra cautious when sleeping at night. Kelly showed up for the first time on day 6 of the competition, and right away, she stumbled upon a great find. In Kelly's understanding, rabbit horns symbolize luck, so this discovery led her to decide to set up numerous snare traps around the area, boosting her odds of catching food passively. For Kelly, using snares is a low-energy, sustainable hunting method that is well-suited for the high-demand conditions of the Arctic winter. In a setting where energy conservation is vital, it efficiently offsets the drawbacks of active hunting. At 31 years old, he has been pursuing an ideal life in the wilderness since adulthood, never having a fixed residence. His extensive time in the wilderness has endowed him with numerous survival skills. In winter, Kelly tracks the movements of cougars. In summer, Kelly primarily fishes to gather food and stay cool. In the fall, joining community hunts not only yields animal hides, securing the competition prize can aid their future in wilderness living. For Kelly, the unfettered wilderness life is a lifelong pursuit. Just as Kelly was busy searching for food for the day, a white blur suddenly flashed before her eyes, and when she looked up, he saw a large gray wolf not far away, right in the woods ahead. According to animal behavior studies, wolves are typical pack predators. Individuals rarely act alone, usually hunting in packs. After Kelly observed for a while, more wolves indeed appeared. She counted roughly 5, forming a small pack. Kelly, used to sleeping outdoors, felt completely unafraid. Thrilled, she tracked them, planning a feast. The wolf pack's presence suggested there is a stable prey chain in the area, and she might find more small animals to hunt, such as rabbits and squirrels. However, unfortunately, due to wolves' exceptional stealth when moving in the wild, their padded feet minimize friction noise when they touch the ground. Kelly might lose sight of her target if she's not vigilant while tracking. Meeting the wolf pack made Kelly see the risk of spending the night without a set campsite. Facing colder temperatures and predator threats, staying exposed is risky, making returning to the original area crucial. He quickly chose to build a shelter right there. Kelly started by using small trees to create a basic A-frame structure. As the A-frame structure is highly stable and easy to build, it serves as an excellent foundation for a temporary shelter. To prevent the tarp from getting torn, he even stripped the bark off the support poles. But when he finally put the tarp on, he was shocked to find he hadn't caught any good food yet. Nature kindly offered him the constant northwest wind to help curb his hunger. Though it wasn't pretty when finished, it worked well enough to handle the first stage without trouble. On the other hand, Mark was living like a local tycoon. The fish head soup Mark left unfinished last night has turned into fish jelly by morning. Mark will probably put on some weight, especially after netting several large fish recently. To keep his smoked meat safe from curious neighbors, Mark put a security door on his shelter. He didn't want to wake up and find all his jerky gone, as food is the key to winning the $1 million prize. First, he chops down a few 2-meter-high wooden sticks for the base, then fills the middle with a thick layer of spruce branches, fastened tightly on top with extra sticks for a basic, cozy, secure door. Though it might not be the prettiest, being practical is what matters here. Once done, Mark headed back to his fish-scented cabin for some soup, but the sudden cawing of crows outside made him alert. As crows usually send out sentinels to circle in the air and observe, alerting other birds to potential dangers. This action made Mark aware that there might be a threatening animal nearby. He quickly ran outside to check, and as the camera zoomed in, he was surprised to see a black bear, drawn by its sense of smell, 2,100 times stronger than a human's. The bear, smelling from 5 kilometers, was lured to Mark's shelter by the fish aroma. Mark, a 10-year veteran, couldn't resist excellent ingredients. If he succeeds, he won't have to worry about food for the next 2 months. Right now, the black bear is upwind from Mark, so it can't smell him. He could easily sneak up behind the bear and enjoy a feast of grilled meat tonight. Unfortunately, however, when Mark reached the rock where he'd seen the black bear, it had vanished without a trace. Eager to seize this chance to change his fate, Mark imitated the sound of an injured rabbit to lure the bear. Awkwardly, the bear didn't show up, and this move also scared away the crows acting as sentinels. Joel grew up between South Africa and Tanzania, living a secluded and primitive lifestyle. He learned many hunting and survival skills from the Maasai tribe, and later founded his own survival school upon returning to Oregon. Maybe the survival school wasn't making much money, or he wanted to boost its reputation. Joel chose to join the Wilderness Solo Challenge, and a week in, he hadn't seen any large prey except for rabbits and squirrels, which kept him busy searching for food every day. Joel must stay alert to his environment and ground tracks to spot any animal signs. He stumbles upon moose tracks on the ground. The lure of $1 million drove him to track them, only to be shocked by the sight of a musk ox skeleton, completely devoured by a black bear.
That is a fresh musk ox kill. I mean, you can still see pieces of flesh on here. Wolves in the area, so anything that could have taken this thing down here. That's a good find. Means that the musk ox are in this area.
Joel's feelings were mixed. There was a chance to get moose or musk ox meat, but there were also many wolves and black bears near his camp. Back at the camp, Joel gave the ox head a new body, and even talked to it, instructing it to watch over his shelter to prevent any midnight intrusions. Not only could he chat with it to relieve boredom, but it might also attract other animals. After settling the ox in its new home, Joel prepared to check the net he set up yesterday, since food is essential for his survival. Although he didn't see any large prey, the porcupine was a good choice.
Oh yeah, I got a fish in my net.
And along with the soon-to-be-eaten whitefish, the porcupine had already brought him 6 fish. The whitefish was not only tasty and nutritious, but crucially, 80% of it was fat, ranking 3rd on the Wilderness Gourmet list, which convinced him he had found the perfect fishing spot. If he could stash 100 smoked fish before the lake froze solid, he could still win the $1 million and keep his food safe from nosy neighbors. Joel planned to build a high storage rack like Jordan Deer God, Season 6. But unlike him, his food would definitely not be stolen. He started by collecting sticks for a ladder, then located 3 nearby large trees. He trimmed the branches to support a platform and climbed high enough to chop off the treetops, despite the precarious position. Fortunately, he wasn't injured. If the axe had been just a bit more accurate, a cannibal feast might have needed early preparation. Jordan, the deer god, joked that his building lessons never covered falling off ladders. Having learned his lesson, Joel opted for a handsaw to trim the treetops. After cutting down trees, he crafted a platform using sticks, then laid a layer of pine branches and placed smoked jerky on top, completing a perfect food storage rack. He hoped this storage rack would be useful, but if anyone was having a tougher time, it was the upbeat Kelly. Yet, the rabbit's foot she saw as a lucky charm didn't seem to work in her favor. In the early, toughest days, the dozens of traps she had high hopes for failed to catch a single rabbit. Worse still, her previously built simple shelter was nearly blown apart by the relentless northwest wind. The current camp was located on a protruding part of the mountain, causing the shelter to face the wind from 3 sides 24/7, leaving her sleepless all night. Even her eye bags looked heavier today. But in the face of nature's power, humans appear so small and powerless. So Kelly had to abandon her original base and look for a new campsite. But she hadn't eaten protein in days, and she needed to find food to regain strength before she could relocate and build a new shelter. Just as her survival seemed in jeopardy, fortune began to favor Kelly. She found a big porcupine nestled in a rock crevice. pausing briefly would dishonor the feast. She quickly aimed her bow and released an arrow. Her face, easing from tension, showed she hit the mark. It was clear she hit the target. To prevent the porcupine from escaping deeper after being injured, Kelly quickly shot a second arrow, and unsurprisingly, the arrow struck the porcupine as if it were resting peacefully at home, and an arrow came from the sky. This 40-pound porcupine was definitely a gourmet treat in the Arctic. Heading to the lakeside, Kelly used a fashion knife technique to skin the porcupine. Since porcupines accumulate fat in advance during winter, storing more than 40% of their body weight, fat is vital for surviving the Arctic winter, aiding the body in effectively resisting the cold. It supports metabolism, and for Kelly, deprived of meat, this porcupine is like a gift in a time of need. After removing the inedible parts, there are still over 30 pounds of meat left. For Kelly, who has been longing for a break, he can finally relax for the next week and focus on building his shelter with peace of mind. Next up is the last contestant, Keith. Despite his appearance resembling a wanderer, the challenge is just a change of scenery for him, as he has lived in the forest hunting and fishing since adulthood. Hunting and fishing are his everyday tasks, and the competition participants are highly skilled. Maybe he should introduce his daughter to the brothers on screen. Keith's shelter stands out, but it's uncertain if it will withstand the snow. So far, he has caught squirrels and grouse. These small critters won't keep him going for 100 days. Keith's aiming for bigger game or a reliable fish supply. Noticing the spinning top's marks on the ground, it looks like he's edging closer to the $1 million prize. Right then, the moose he hoped for was a no-show, but the noisy squirrels in the trees grabbed his attention. When it comes to food, hesitating even for a moment is rude, and the squirrel unexpectedly played along, rolling right into Keith's hands. This season is indeed hailed as the most exciting. Everyone's a crack shot with eagle-eye precision. Back at his camp, he began processing the squirrel, planning to use the meat for tonight's stew. Unwanted innards are used as bait to entice fish in the lake. Keith set up several fixed fishing rods by the lake to increase passive income. This frees up time for other tasks. The following day, Keith checks the automatic fishing setup, and unexpectedly, a little fish took the bait. Keith quickly reeled it in towards himself. Just as it was about to surface, the fish slipped off the hook. Luckily, Keith's experience allowed him to quickly retrieve it. This big lake trout can fuel him for a week. He intends to slice it for smoking and use the remaining bones and head to make a nutritious broth. This season is when the trout is at its most delicious, with its golden flesh making mouths water. After a hectic day, Keith jokes that fans should dig in first. Suddenly, my instant noodles seem less appetizing. I can just picture how delicious the fish must be. All 10 contestants have been on screen, but with 2 eliminated, there are 8 left. Once a wilderness hot tub, porcupine-loving girl Kelly, the slowest shelter builder Bridge, Joel with his bull companion, Mark loves smoked fish, Roland constructs wilderness food, Amos, the king of fishing, and me, who is always asking everyone to like and subscribe to the channel. I hope you'll actively support us. Next episode, I'll keep you updated on the contestants' progress in the 7th season of the Wilderness Survival Show. When Roland lifted the 200-pound log, it marked the start of building the toughest shelter ever seen on Alone in the Wilderness. His extraordinary strength had already left a profound impression on everyone.
Last big log in place.
Roland's fortress-like shelter was a standout, boosting the 7th season's ratings. Despite not gathering much food, yet the stone house construction remains on track, aligning with the grand scale of this structure. Roland picked logs around 20 centimeters thick, each weighing over 90 kilograms from Black Cloud Mountain. I thought Roland's stone house had already set a new record for shelters in the show's history. After finishing the series, I was amazed to see Roland not just chopping wood, but also expanding his shelter. It seems Roland's value continues to rise. Yet every time he moves one of those massive logs, it takes all his strength. Among these contestants, perhaps only the wilderness machine Roland has the stamina for this. It's estimated that constructing the entire shelter requires 90-kilogram logs. Gather 10 logs. Unlike other survival challenges, while others aim for the prize, Roland prioritizes building a shelter suited for enduring life in the Arctic Circle. He prioritizes building a shelter that meets the practical needs for stable living. The project is physically demanding, so he'll resume the remaining work the next day. Fireweed's carbohydrates sustained him despite insufficient food over 14 days. His sturdy build and the few carbs from fireweed kept his construction progress steady. The walls are now at the right height, and the next step is adding the roof. What other participants consider as heavy logs for support beams, Roland repurposes logs usually meant for roofing, showcasing his high standards for shelter strength. However, such intense labor roughly burns 500 calories per hour. That's like the calories in 2 medium apples, showing its impressive impact, which Roland fully understands. As winter sets in, the need for a secure and cozy shelter becomes vital. Even if food isn't gathered immediately, constructing the strongest shelter in the Arctic is essential. As the final ridgepole was set in place, this fortress-like shelter was officially completed. Its sturdiness is such that it could easily withstand a bear dancing on top. The finishing touches on the roof are quite simple, requiring only a layer of moss and a waterproof cover, with a gap left for the chimney. It seems Roland truly intends to settle here for the long haul. Although Roland appears invincible on camera, he's been going through a tough time lately. Though Roland has gathered food for his sturdy shelter, he's fixated on finding a big game animal. In this 300-acre forest, he can't spot large animals, which makes him frustrated. For the last 2 weeks, lacking protein, he's frequently turned to fireweed roots to curb his hunger. Fireweed roots are starchy herbal roots that can help treat inflammation, relieve pain, and reduce fever. Besides, fireweed roots can help with inflammations. It's smart to gather them early and stash them near food supplies. To tackle upcoming food shortages and swiftly resolve this impasse, he moved the gill net to deeper waters after 10 days without fish. Hoping for better luck, after resetting the gill net, Roland checked the snare trap he'd set earlier, and, after waiting a long time, it finally caught some prey. Today, no longer a barren situation. Faced with this scarce source of protein, Roland eagerly demonstrated what it means to eat raw and wild. This rough way of eating is not advisable to mimic, as eating wild animals directly. Avoid mimicking this behavior, as eating wild animals can easily lead to viral infections. Roland continues this practice because he's been doing it since adulthood, and his body has built up some immunity. For the intestines that other participants dislike, Roland plans to clean and cook the scarce food he currently has. However, as he removes the squirrel's outer skin, he sees its back has become pale. The abdomen skin stays blue, signaling the onset of harsh winter weather. Roland has very little time left to refine his shelter and gather more food. Just as we admired Roland's subtle yet impressive stonework, a surprise expert joined the episode. Other participants are thriving with both food and shelter. Currently, Joe's shelter is the only one that hasn't been started yet. Aware that winter is nearing, he picked berries this morning to curb his hunger. He started building a lasting shelter to avoid becoming a midnight snack for wild animals. Joe aimed to construct a log cabin for safety over 100 days. Before arriving, he knew shelter would be a key concern. He intentionally traded his less effective bow and arrow for a wood chisel, starting by connecting 2 thick logs with interlocking grooves. This created an A-shaped framework, joints to set up a crossbeam between the 2 frameworks. This dovetail technique dates back to the Neolithic era, around 7,000 years ago. The first physical example of a dovetail joint was discovered at Neolithic sites in Yuyao and Hemudu, China. In the competition, Xiao's carpentry skills reached an exceptional level. Employing mortise and tenon methods, he crafted 4 walls around the frame, a task to be repeated in the coming days. He was on track to complete a wilderness mansion with bedroom and living room, though a week behind others in construction. He believes in the value of steady, careful work, confident that his shelter will endure any challenges. Yet Joe, running on low fuel and high effort, soon finds himself worn out by the enormity of the task. I had to pause the project for now. To finish building this wilderness log cabin successfully, you need to have enough food, as protein is the real currency in wilderness survival. Without a bow and arrow, Joe can only rely on passive income from fishing and trapping. After inspecting more than a dozen traps, he felt like his entire world had crumbled. As Joe reached for berries, he spotted a squirrel tucked in a rock crevice nearby. The squirrel was adorable, but could Joe really eat it? He didn't have time to dwell on it. He quickly grabbed a stone to block the exit, then used a sharpened stick with barbs to poke inside and kill it. Although the hole wasn't very deep, it happened to have a 90-degree turn. This let the squirrel effortlessly dodge Joe's efforts, and right when he was about to craft a new curved spear, he failed to block the entrance, letting the squirrel slip away quickly. Just like that, a delicious protein-rich meal slipped away right under his nose. It's likely that hunger has dulled his brain's reactions. Surviving on just berries and mushrooms without enough meat, how long will it take to finish his grand wilderness shelter? He's already a week behind the others, so he needs to catch up quickly. At this point, his only hope is a big catch. Having survived the conflicts back home, Amos currently has the richest food reserves. On day 6, Amos landed a hefty pike over 10 pounds. In the following days, he almost always had a catch, sometimes even landing 2 fish at once. In total, he has caught 11 big ones, and today, once again, his nets were full. Amos felt immense gratitude towards Great Slave Lake, relishing the rich, oily fish head soup. Looking back at Roland, who was still gnawing on roots, the contrast was stark. For Amos, the show had become a dream come true for any fisherman. At this rate, he might end up with dozens of smoked fish before the lake freezes over. In the evening, Amos sat by the warm campfire, enjoying what felt like the most delicious fish feast on earth. Days like these got him thinking about ways to spend the possible $1 million prize. But just then, he heard sparse footsteps outside his shelter. Noise wasn't a rabbit, more like a wolverine, and the surveillance camera outside caught a glimpse of glowing eyes in the dark. To protect his precious fish stored outside, Amos swiftly snatched his headlamp and bowed to face the intruder. He anticipated a thrilling face-off similar to Jordan's Wolverine battle in Season 6. But after searching around, he found no trace of the creature. Seeing the fish hanging on the tree intact, Amos returned to rest assured. Still, he couldn't shake thoughts of Wolverine fat. Despite his wilderness experience, he had never tasted Wolverine meat. While Kylan had been living comfortably in the Arctic Circle by trapping rabbits, the rabbit meat's low-fat content caused her weight to drop instead of rise. So, Kylan wanted to make a change. She attempted fishing to gather food and fat for the days ahead, but spent the whole morning casting her line without catching anything. The fishing hook was scentless, while the cormorants diving in the lake seemed to taunt the Air Force. After a morning of disappointment, Kaylin decided to head back to camp. Kaylin intended to take her overnight gear to a spot with more resources and deeper waters to catch some fish. Although spending the night without shelter was risky, with $1 million at stake, she needed to adapt. Risk and reward are intertwined, so she trekked 1.6 kilometers with her gear. Kaylin arrived at a prime fishing spot with deep waters, and she believed the water here was much deeper than at the camp, just a cast away from filling her backpack with fish. Despite Kaylin's flawless casting arc slicing through the air repeatedly in hopes of a bite, yet not one fish in the Polish lake was ready to take the bait. Just as she was ready to call it a night, suddenly,
I think I got one. I lost it.
though the outcome was underwhelming, it confirmed there were indeed more fish in the deep waters. Persistence confirms outcomes. That night, she fell asleep under a starry sky. The next morning, just past 7, Kaylin was back at fishing, all for a tasty fish head soup to start the day right. Unfortunately, it seemed fate loved to tease this hard-working girl. After 2.5 hours of fishing, her arm was sore, yet still no fish took the bait. Kaylin grew frustrated. Despite her efforts, the fish she wanted stayed out of reach. She started doubting her fishing skills, and just as Kaylin was ready to head back to camp, a shocking scene unfolded before her eyes. A moose weighing several hundred pounds. They were just under 30 meters apart, a prime chance for Kaylin. This was an ideal chance. As soon as the moose noticed, it swiftly dove into the water, attempting to flee. Kaylin hurriedly mimicked the call of a female moose in an attempt to lure it back. During the autumn mating season, the moose turned its head, drawn by the sound, and Kaylin quickly stood up. She was poised to grab her bow and arrow for the hunt, but instantly regretted it. Heading out to fish, he forgot the crucial item, his bow and arrow. Watching an old lady crawl into bed cracked me up. With a golden chance, how could you forget your bow and arrow? It's such a basic mistake. Isn't the goal to secure food, not to relax? Facing 2 setbacks in a single day left Kaylin bewildered. She missed catching fish. She missed a prime opportunity to hunt a valuable moose, which was leisurely moving in the water, and would have been an easy shot if she'd had her bow and arrow with her. Had she brought her bow, she would have nailed the shot. She'll surely remember it next time. Don't underestimate these 2 big fish. They're Mark's ticket to winning $1 million. While other contestants are scratching their heads over food, Mark's net snagged 26 big fish, a surprise since he expected food scarcity to be the Arctic's main challenge. But now the real challenge is handling all this fish meat, leaving the smokehouse too full to fit anymore. After eating 8 large fish, there are still 18 smoked and soon-to-be smoked fish left. Such a lavish fish feast is hard not to envy. Given the bountiful harvest, it seems necessary to set up a larger outdoor smoking rack to prepare for the dozens of fish to come. This rack isn't just for storing smoked fish. Considering his own safety and the allure of the food, he also needs an outdoor campfire to ward off animals that like to steal food at night. Mark starts by using 3 sticks. Construct a sturdy tripod with a platform in the middle to place the fish meat at the bottom. The space is used to light a smoking fire, and an alarm system is set up around the rack. If animals attempt a midnight raid, Mark can retreat to the shelter. And once the main framework is built, cover the outside with pine branches to enhance the fish's flavor. Moreover, the smoked fish has a unique, fresh, woody aroma. The taste becomes much fresher and less greasy, completely different from what is smoked indoors. With the food storage sorted, it was time to tackle personal grooming. In the last couple of weeks alone, my stray hairs had noticeably grown, so Mark took on the role of a barber and gave himself a haircut. After his haircut, Mark felt rejuvenated. Yet, he skipped the plentiful fish at home today, insisting on making some reindeer platforms. Usually, he just uses this stuff as toilet paper. He doesn't want to switch to a vegetarian diet, but fish and meat consumption is too much, causing the stomach to be full of fat. Wow, comparing oneself to others can really be frustrating. Hobbling around, after eating tasteless moss, Mark needs plant vitamins to balance his diet, so he's planning to brew tea from blueberry roots. Blueberry roots balance the digestive system with excess fiber. Using them together can quickly restore bodily functions. After looking for the blueberry roots, I found no traces of the black bear's battle. I found lots of untouched seeds and checked how fresh they were. They must have been left this morning, and they were very close to my camp. Right now, they're gearing up for hibernation, making their meat and fat the richest. It's like a pillow landing in your lap when you're tired. Mark noticed black bear tracks across the lake, weary of fish. Perfect moment to switch palate, and perhaps craft some bear gloves as a bonus. Of course, Mark was determined to prevent that. He planned to ambush the bear, armed with his bow and arrow, and hiding in the berry patch that the black bear loved. Although you can't have both fish and bear's paw, maybe Mark, a former Marine, can. It could really happen after all. The lure of $1 million is quite strong. Since getting that plump little porcupine, Kelly has been busy relocating her shelter these past few days. Considering her last shelter left her exposed to the northwest wind, this time she chose a sheltered spot and reinforced it with branches. It seems she suffered quite a bit before, but it's worth it to be out of the wind. The porcupine she caught 7 days ago is now just a pot of bland broth, once again facing a food crisis. Kelly had to refocus on obtaining food. The first thing to do was to check the trap she set a few days ago, but although the results didn't yield the expected prey, when she saw the second one, the blush on the young girl's face said it all. Thought she caught something big, but it was a snowshoe hare. For Kelly, the value of the snare trap, not only obtaining food, but also freeing up time and energy, enabling her to tackle other survival chores. It adds an element of surprise to the routine solitary life. After bringing it back to camp, Kelly gave it some emergency care. The rabbit was in such bad shape that Kelly had to give it separate artificial respiration for its lungs. After everyone had eaten and drank enough, it was time to display some skills. Alongside storing food, it's also crucial to store water. When choosing gear, Kelly chose an iron pot and can for storage using these utensils. While they can boil water, they're not ideal for storing it for drinking. To enjoy a drink, she must boil the water and let it cool. Therefore, she plans to use this clay to make some pottery to enhance water storage capacity. Kelly first rolled the fully mixed clay into long strips. She then coiled the clay strips to form layers, shaping the pottery's base outline. Next, she pinched the clay strips upwards along the base edge. She molded it into a round pot shape and set it by the fire to dry. To be fair, without professional pottery making tools, Kelly's craftsmanship is rather remarkable, considering pottery dates back 20,000 years in China. The Shanrendong site in Jiangxi has some of the world's earliest known pottery. Clay pottery is an important invention to adapt to the environment and enhance survival skills. After a busy day, Kelly successfully made a clay pot and bowl. Despite not being fired at high temperatures for long, they work perfectly as simple water storage containers. On day 18, Joel, a hunter, caught 2 rabbits using skills gained from the Maasai people. His unique hunting experience is something he wants to share through this program.
Let's go see if we can show you a couple tricks of the trade. Rabbit hunting 101. Do not stalk rabbits. That they are the bottom of the food chain and they see you moving like a predator, chances are they will run. Walk around like you look like a big grass eater that has absolutely no interest in hunting absolutely anything. This will give the rabbit a false sense of security. And then with very slow movements, turn around and make your shot.
By the lakeside, he skinned the rabbits and noticed their fur had become strikingly white. This is because winter is approaching, and the rabbit changes its fur to white. It can better evade predators in the snowy landscape to survive the winter. But unfortunately, it couldn't evade Joel's sharp eye, and back at camp, he prepared stew with rabbit kidney and thigh. Foreigners avoid organ meats, but this guy not only enjoyed it, he also used chopsticks better than I did. I even wondered if he was a fake foreigner. Despite its unappealing look, it's genuine, unadulterated gourmet food. After eating, Joel's complexion looked a bit rosier. With the Arctic winter fast approaching, Joel plans to install a small door on his shelter to fend off the bone-chilling winds. The scent of rabbit blood in the shelter drew flies that buzzed around him. But just as he was focused on his work, a fly suddenly flew into his ear. The host is all too familiar with the discomfort of a fly entering a tight space. It buzzes inside, seeking a way out, causing discomfort in the ear. Joel feared the fly couldn't escape, getting hurt, forcing him to leave the competition. He first tried to remove it with his fingers, but the fly had flown too deep inside, making it unreachable. After failing, he attempted to extract it with tweezers. Luckily, the show gave each contestant an emergency medical kit, but it didn't work. After an hour, Joel found a solution. He used a syringe to pour water into his ear. He shook his head, gave it a vigorous shake, and his ear felt clear. Yet the culprit was missing from the ground. But that didn't matter now. After this annoying ordeal, Joel will probably wear that hat wherever he goes to protect his ears. Guard your ears. After 2 days of anticipation, Jiz is eager to check his catch. Hopeful, he goes to the lake to check his catch, but finds his fishing gear and gill net empty. Having gone 2 days without protein, he was now experiencing slight dizziness. Weak and powerless, Jiz hesitantly eyes the plant on the rock. The 12 geese that can't get away? George Washington's army ate them to survive the harsh winter. They survived the harsh winter by ambushing and eating this creature, which, although edible, I truly wouldn't recommend it unless absolutely necessary. Once cooked, it looks quite unappealing, so it's better to avoid looking while you eat. The ideal way is to gulp it down without chewing. Once you're certain it's fine, he encouraged the viewers to try it themselves, advising them to consume a bit more. After all, energy consumption in the wild is quite high. After a simple meal, Jeez felt his strength returning. He decided to quickly check the traps he had set up. During this period, he had been setting up snare traps every day. However, they have yet to yield any results for him. But even so, he hasn't given up. Survival is more important than anything else. Fortunately, this time, fate finally favored him. Although the squirrel wasn't very large, but its meat is rich in protein, though unfortunately it has very little fat. I can only say it's much better than eating that bland plant. Just then, snowflakes started falling, hinting at something. The challenges ahead would be tougher. And back at camp, Jeez sits by the campfire amidst the falling snow, waiting for the protein from the squirrel soup to rejuvenate every cell in his body. As he eats, he muses, if only squirrels had 6 legs. He plans to eat the meat today and drink the leftover broth tomorrow. Although life is tough, there's still hope for $1 million prize. Just as he believed things might improve, a sudden turn of events occurs. On the 22nd night in the Arctic, Jiz suffers stomach cramps and endures a painful night. There's no sign of improvement. He tries to drink some hot soup to ease the symptoms, but things get worse. Just after sipping some of yesterday's squirrel broth, Jiz loses control of his body and becomes a water boy, vomiting uncontrollably on the ground. It's likely he contracted a disease carried by the squirrel, and after emptying his stomach, he finds himself teetering on the brink of hell. Ultimately, Jiz calls for rescue due to his illness. As Arctic temperatures plummet, the strength gap among contestants grows. Out of the 10 challengers, only 7 remain. Who will be the next to withdraw? Meanwhile, Roland, the most dramatically resilient contestant, Roland endured 20 days by subsisting on roots. Now, his fishing net rewards him with 2 fish, providing true salvation for his energy-depleted body. But the 8-pound trout provides just up to 5,000 calories, far from meeting the demands of an ultimate wilderness machine. Roland's basic metabolism and labor in the Arctic require about 3,000 calories a day, so these 2 fish will only sustain him for about 3 days. He still had to figure out the food issue, but as he got to the shore, he abruptly halted. He accidentally looks out and spots something watching him. To get a better look, Roland carefully refocused the camera and was surprised to see it was a local resident, a large black bear. Roland had never seen such a large animal in this 300-acre forest before. Both held each other's gaze, standing cautiously still. Perhaps the black bear was curious, thinking the creature might be tasty. From an ethological perspective, a bear typically assesses the danger of unfamiliar creatures by observing them first. Its gaze is evaluating Roland's size and movements, while the bear is assessing the risk. Roland, meanwhile, was dreaming of a barbecue feast, plus the bonus of using its fur for warmth. Considering his current position was downwind of the black bear, it meant the bear could clearly detect his scent. Any aggressive action at this moment is likely to trigger the bear's emergency escape response, so it might flee. Considering the environment and animal behavior, Roland opts to loop through the woods, aiming to intercept and ambush the black bear. For Roland, this task was tougher than any he tackled before. Adult black bears weigh 100 to 200 kilograms with a bite force of 360 kilograms. It can sprint up to 56 kilometers per hour, challenging both strength and skill. It was the ultimate test of wilderness survival skills. Despite rapid breathing, though fear gripped him, unfortunately, his initial vantage point was too far from the black bear. By the time he looped back to where he'd last seen the bear, he looked around. He couldn't find the big black bear. What mattered more was, from Roland's position, he can smell fish and smoke drifting from his camp. A black bear has over 1 billion olfactory cells, about 2,100 times the 5 million in humans. This allows them to easily detect food within a 5-kilometer radius, with scents carried by air currents. This was key factor drawing black bear nearer. With resource-scarce winter, frequent wildlife visits unavoidable. This increases the danger of the 100-day survival challenge. Kelly, a seasoned wilderness survivor, stands on a mountain, feeling the icy wind from afar. His gaze falls on the water's surface, rippling under the fierce wind. Feeling the Arctic winter's imminent arrival, and having undergone nature's spiritual cleansing, he chose to improve his shelter. If not, the first snowfall would drive Kelly to retreat. Wilderness survival experience guided him. Constructing a stone fireplace was ideal against severe cold. Doing so not only sealed one end of the shelter tightly, but also achieved a certain level of heating and insulation. Because stone has low thermal conductivity, it transfers heat slowly, and its high heat capacity allows it to absorb and store heat. Even after the flames go out, it can slowly release heat, effectively maintaining a stable indoor temperature, making it perfect for winter survival shelters in the wild. After transporting and stacking 2 loads of stones, a fireplace over 1 meter high began to take shape. However, Kelly quickly realized that the gaps between the stones could lead to heat loss, so he hurriedly gathered some clay to fill the gaps, leaving a smoke vent at the top of the fireplace. He started a fire to check the smoke vent, using the heat to help dry the clay faster. The smoke ventilation performs excellently, and Kelly can't help but feel proud. With winter's approach becoming clear, Kelly diligently completes the fireplace capping the next morning, making sure the fire stays safe and contained. The careful construction of the fireplace is vital, not just for warmth. He prioritized safety by sealing the walls with bark-stripped sticks. Since this area is right above the fireplace, the bark cellulose can quickly dry and catch fire in high heat. Moss fills the gaps between sticks, offering insulation and resisting flames. Under Kelly's meticulous care and skillful hands, the shelter with a large fireplace is finally completed. It's crafted excellently. While it lacks Roland's insulated food storage, but even a small one won't let the winter invade. Initially, the progress of this shelter, despite lagging, Kelly's resolve to win was unwavering. Today, he finally caught up. If he keeps securing food supplies, barring any mishaps, he still has a strong chance to compete for the championship. Here's Joe's cabin on day 23 of the Wilderness Challenge. Shelter appearance on day 12. Similar, not identical. The outer walls are slightly taller. I assume someone capable of constructing a stunning cabin. Gaudi is an interesting guy, but who knew he'd be so lazy? Gaudi hasn't been in the spotlight, but his cabin building skills are impressive. Can he relish life in his wilderness mansion before exiting the competition? Besides the initial days when he ate small animals, he's mostly been seen eating wild vegetables until he's full. Today, he intended to muster all his strength to build the shelter, but after just a few swings of the axe, I was already out of breath. The imbalance between energy intake and physical exertion has caused Joe's weight to drop by more than 10% during this period, and it's still decreasing. To keep his wilderness shelter from being abandoned, he needs to fully commit to finding food. Fortunately, a patch of white caught his eye from afar, but upon closer inspection, a perfectly plump snow hare had been torn apart by another animal. Luckily, the main parts were intact, and after cleaning it up, it could still fill his stomach. He realized he needed to check the traps more often from now on. Learning from this lesson, Joe immediately decided to inspect the traps to prevent caught prey from being snatched by other animals. To his dismay, he found the hare entirely eaten by another animal, likely a cunning fox. The culprit was likely a fox, as foxes are known for their cunning in the forest. Their diet consists of 95% meat. If it were any other prey, this hare would have been gone for sure. Overall, today marked a highlight of his time in the Arctic Circle. Finding 2 incomplete snow hares reduced reliance on berries for hunger, and Wilderness Villa progress could speed up. With enough food, Joe chose not to rush the Wilderness Villa project. Instead, he wisely took a break in the drafty shelter, making the most of his energy. He believed gathering plenty of food was crucial to maintain his strength and build up fat reserves. Ultimately, the shelter would get finished, but food would be hard to find in the frozen wilderness. Fishing was his survival strategy. Joe aimed to replace the hare with trout. Fortunately, the ecosystem of Great Slave Lake was rich and intact, or perhaps Joe's luck had truly arrived. His excitement is beyond words, and shouting out loud is the best way to express his hard work. Using half a day's effort, he secured a week's worth of food. The fish in his hand is likely the largest caught by any contestant so far. Adult lake trout can weigh up to 93 pounds, but this aquatic giant is eye-catching enough. His survival plan is effective. Meanwhile, Kelly, contestant, even in the wilderness, she regularly cleans her intimate clothing. However, her greasy long hair bothers her in this solitary environment where beauty is of no use and might even hinder her from winning the $1 million prize. She confidently trims her long hair, which has been with her for years. And indeed, short-haired women appear more capable. Since the start of the competition, Kelly has been setting snares around her camp, and they have not disappointed, bringing her decent catches. Though not a feast, she hasn't gone hungry for a day. However, armed with a bow, she checks the traps. She couldn't fulfill her wish to eat spicy rabbit head tonight, not even catching anything at the rabbit hole entrance. Just as she feels a bit disappointed, she unexpectedly encounters a rabbit out for food.
Shot my first bunny.
Kelly says nothing, drawing her bow fully. Wow, her arrow shot to the throat is flawless. Those truly aiming to win. Her face shows no smile. After bringing the rabbit back to camp, Kelly decided to reward herself generously tonight. However, when she lit the fire, she realized she should have installed a chimney earlier as the indoor smoke. Kelly had to rush outside, almost blinded by the smoke. If this continues, the rabbit might not be cooked yet. I need to install a smoke vent in the shelter first. As I'm about to be declared the first cured meat in the Arctic Circle, I'll start by creating a small opening above the campfire and use clay to seal its edges. Create a natural airflow using the door and window to efficiently vent smoke from the fireplace. While the design is basic and lacks visual appeal, it works well. This minor tweak can avert prolonged smoke inhalation. This helps lower the risk of respiratory issues. Meanwhile, Amos unexpectedly discovers an old can on the beach. Opening the lid, the smell wafts out. Even the fish cans pale in comparison before it. Eating this would knock you out. And the fans wouldn't like it. Keep it to attract wolverines. His food will last just 2 weeks. Make sure to catch plenty of fish before the lake freezes. Otherwise, surviving later will be tough. When he goes to retrieve the fish, he discovered the gill net drifting solo in the water, as the sea had unexpectedly snapped the stick securing it. Fortunately, the net wasn't far from the shore, so Amos quickly used another stick to retrieve it. This net is Amos's most precious treasure in the Arctic Circle. Without it, surviving the 100-day challenge would be difficult. Right now, snowflakes are drifting down, but it's vital to gather firewood ahead of time. Since the snow's duration is unpredictable, and the Arctic temperature hovers around 1 degree, and it occasionally starts snowing. After nightfall, the persistent snowflakes descend once more, undeniably complicating survival. But there's no choice but to face it all, so increasing the firewood reserve is the best protection. However, just at this moment, the axe went missing, and without it, he might as well return to the Stone Age. Fortunately, the snow didn't last long. The next day, he found it again at the place where he chopped wood, and the joy of recovering it made him overjoyed. Amos will surely cherish it more in the future. On the other side, Bridge didn't face snow issues, but he was almost blown silly by the wind. Bridge's shelter project remains incomplete. He vowed to finish it today, but honestly, even if you work tirelessly for 24 hours today, the possibility of completing the wilderness villa is slim. Bridge has lost 20 pounds, and if he had been a bit more diligent, things wouldn't be like this now. But after chopping just 2 logs, he felt exhausted. Just then, the sky turned against him, bringing rain that forced him to stop working and retreat for rest. Heavy rain punishes everyone who hasn't built a proper shelter, and to make matters worse, the waterproof cloth somehow got a small hole. It's over. Heavy rain outside, light rain inside, and poor Bridge can only keep wiping away the leaking water, while the sky seems unwilling to stop. Joe, bottled up frustration, finally let it out. His heart kept him awake all night.
Rain! Why rain? Everything's just wet. Son of a bitch. I'm supposed to be raining in.
As the sun illuminated the earth again, Joe looked at his shelter's sorry state, and he sighed deeply, feeling helpless. Despite this, his mental resilience remained intact. Joe appears to understand the need for change. He hangs up his damp clothes and bedding. He decided to move into the open-air mansion, despite being in a situation where drinking the northwest wind could fill him up. At least he won't have to deal with heavy rain, giving him some time to search for food. Otherwise, he might not live to see the mansion finished. From a God's eye view today, perhaps his performance isn't perfect, but given Joel's circumstances at the time, he's made the best choices given the situation. The camera pans to Joel, who carves the events of the past month onto a stick with a knife. He understood that always missing his family could weaken his resolve to win the $1 million prize. So even on days when he doesn't gather food, he must keep himself busy. So he plans to make a solid wood camping chair. Even in the wilderness, being alone doesn't mean you can't enjoy happiness. Begin by crafting a sturdy tripod with a few sticks, then tie a row of smooth sticks to it, and you've got yourself a low-budget recliner. As soon as he sat down, it instantly felt like outdoor camping. Once he completed the camping chair, he crafted some dice. To be honest, Joel, let's bring in lights, music, girls, beer, and barbecue. With all that, forget about just 100 days. You could easily stay another 100. Looks like you're pretty at ease with surviving in the wild, pal. As the competition progresses, Joel realizes that once everything turns white, his feet will endure the cold for long stretches. Frostbite and chilblains are common, so foot care is especially important. So, when he gets back to the shelter, comfy, soft slippers are a must. He lines the slippers with rabbit fur and uses tree bark for the framework. He put them on, warmed by the campfire. They were comfortable. He put in a lot of effort chopping wood, appearing to craft a water ladle. Later, the tree's height was wrong, showing Joel is a musician in everyday life. He even made himself a mandolin, a plucked string instrument that originated in Italy. It's about the size of a violin, with a pear-shaped body and a clean front end. The body is arched, with a rounded back, resembling an almond, which is how it got beautiful, like a rolling silver bell, with strong penetration and charm. However, nothing is as direct as Joel playing a tune for us. Like Joel strums the mandolin to convey his yearning for his wife and daughter. Conversely, Roland shows his family responsibility through his deeds. After the last hunting attempt failed, today he faced another setback. Now he's left to scavenge roots and berries. As he wrapped up and headed back, fortune favors the bold, and the strong reshape their world. At this moment, the awakening power within Roland transforms his life's greatest strength into a divine sword, pouring it towards his target. Then, the only sound is the arrow slicing through the island's silence. That's the end of this episode's story. Thanks for sticking with us. You're welcome to like and subscribe to my channel. Next time, we'll see how the survival expert tackles 100 days in the Arctic Circle. On the surface, Roland seems like an ordinary lumberjack. But in reality, he is a wilderness expert who can single-handedly take down
Black bear mitts.
After surviving a fierce battle, there's nothing more satisfying than indulging in a hearty meal of authentic wild roast meat.
Oh, man.
That was fine. That was mighty fine.
The musk ox's testicles are a superb energy boost right now. They're packed with protein, potassium, and fat, making them the ultimate nourishment during the demanding, low-food days of wilderness survival. After this meal of half-pound charcoal-grilled prime beef tenderloin, Roland feels rejuvenated, like he's 18 again. His long-standing back pains seem to vanish completely. After a satisfying meal and drink, I reclined on the bed, feeling like nothing could be more enjoyable. However, this beef feast was the result of over 20 days of surviving en route when he raised his bow and arrow, aiming at the musk ox, thus officially commencing this epic battle. Feeling a slight pain in its rear, the ox hurriedly headed down the slope to find a place to hide. Roland trailed the ox, maintaining distance, anxious it might flee yet wary of counterattack. Attacking at this moment could likely provoke a strong resistance from the ox. The safest strategy is to maintain a safe distance and wait for the right moment to strike. Roland tracked the musk ox to its resting spot, planning to fire another arrow. At this critical juncture, he realized he lacked the proper gear, so he had to wait patiently for the right moment to strike. Musk ox, Arctic Circle native, boasts skin 1 to 2 centimeters thick, combined with a thick layer of subcutaneous fat. This physical makeup slows blood loss from wounds, forcing Roland to wait for over 5 hours until it finally succumbed to blood loss. Roland noticed the musk ox was about to collapse from exhaustion. As the sky dimmed, he readied his knife for a close combat showdown. After all, everything he wanted had to be fought for. The resilient musk ox also wanted to resist fiercely, but due to previous injuries causing sluggish movements and its large size, making it less agile, it was like a lamb to the slaughter in front of Roland with his knife. With 2 critical fatal strikes from Roland, coupled with 6 hours of physiological torment from the initial injury, the 900-pound musk ox finally collapsed. After countless desert battles in golden armor, I won't return until Lulan falls. After over a month of hard struggle, Roland finally reaped the rewards of his relentless efforts. You're more impressive than those guys watching from screens post-shower. Once the thrill subsided, the key task was to stop the beef from spoiling. Roland decided to first remove the internal organs, as the bacteria in organs multiply 3 to 5 times faster than in muscle tissue. This step swiftly cools the carcass, slowing bacterial growth and helping with meat processing. It extends storage time, and while breaking down the ox, he ate some heart to boost his energy, while boosting his intake of trace, iron, and protein. Ox heart contains 15 to 18 grams of protein per 100 grams, and 7 to 9 milligrams of heme iron, which swiftly restores nutrients to an energy-drained body, alleviating physical exhaustion. But it must be noted, this practice of eating raw organs, viewers should not imitate this blindly. For most, consuming raw food can result in food poisoning or parasites. But Roland has had this habit for many years, so his body has developed certain specific antibodies. However, the Arctic night always carries positional risks. For his own safety, Roland had to temporarily set aside such delicacies. He focused on gathering supplies for the 2.5-kilometer trek back to camp, farther than last season when Jordan's camp was just 900 meters away. Jordan once processed moose overnight, but Roland opted against this approach now. The main reason is that his area's ecosystem is more perilous. This area has long been home to night-active predators like black bears and wolverines. Roland wasn't willing to endanger himself by hauling loads of beef through the night. Therefore, he chose to pack the high-fat innards into his raincoat to take back to camp first. Just 100 grams of innard fat can provide 900 calories, sufficient for a lavish wild dinner tonight, with the remainder left for processing the next day. Hopefully, predators won't ruin the musk ox tonight, or viewers will see what happens when Roland gets mad. The 29th warm night in the Arctic was the most comfortable sleep Roland had. The ultimate relaxation allowed him to sleep until after 11 a.m. After savoring a breakfast worthy of a national banquet, Roland grabbed his bow and arrows again, setting out to transport the beef. He knew there might be bears and wolverines snatching it. Black bear's sense of smell is 2,100 times that of humans. Detect strong scents 10 kilometers away. Beef with bloody smell is likely to draw predators. Luckily, he didn't face any ambushes on his way. When he arrived at the musk ox storage site, he saw that most of the prime meat was intact, though the cow's stomach on the rocks had been taken. Roland prepared to begin, gripped his bow and arrow, eyes fixed ahead. The wind rustling leaves was a false alarm, a relief. I suspected another animal might be approaching with supplies, which added an element of danger to the dissection process. Roland needed to stay alert. He intended to start by removing the outer skin, starting with the 2 ox legs. From a nutritional standpoint, the protein content of ox leg meat is about 20%, includes 8 vital amino acids, with protein digestion and absorption rate can exceed 90%, effectively promoting muscle growth and repair. Ideal for fitness buffs and post-surgery recovery. Roland, a seasoned hunting guide. Roland has handled many large animals in his life, so dissecting is almost second nature to him. While dissecting, he must remain alert to his surroundings to prevent predator attacks, and this prime tenderloin will be the best reward for a hard day's work. After 3 hours of work, beef scent drew crows, and the arrival of crows often signals other predators to track the food. So, Roland needs to hurry with the processing, but he can't haul all the meat back to the shelter today. Since the dissection just took place here to prevent wild animals from devouring the remaining beef, Roland had to prioritize moving the best cuts up the mountain first. He camouflaged it with branches and covered it entirely with the ox hide. He left just the musk ox's head and stomach at the original spot to lure predators with their scent. Preserving core beef. The bloody smell at the first sight is too strong. Snow swirls around the Arctic Circle, but Roland's cabin is a cozy spring day. Plus, with a plate full of ox heart in hand, Roland is in his most comfortable state, savoring the delicacy. I think nothing beats this moment after enjoying such a protein-rich meal. The beef must still be moved, even as untouched snow falls from the wild. Covering the entire land, it still cannot halt his stride towards winning $1 million. However, spotting the snow scattered with chaotic footprints, a sudden dread seized him. He hurried to the scene, bow and arrows in hand. Sure enough, poachers had ravaged the musk ox's head, and the nutritious, tricky-to-cook tongue was missing too. Luckily, even with some losses, the main stash of meat stayed hidden. After this painful lesson, Roland realized he needed to speed up the transportation of the beef, avoid further escalation of losses. However, Walking in the blizzard, he can only haul dozens of pounds of beef per trip, and with the 2.5-kilometer trek, he can manage at most 3 trips a day. Hopefully, in the coming days, the meat won't suffer too much loss. Right now, for Roland, too much meat is a hassle. If Roland the Wilderness Machine hadn't taken down that musk ox, any contestant left this season can be picked out at random. They are all likely to be champions in other seasons, and Mark is the most typical contestant. After a month of competing, the Great Slave Fox in the Arctic Circle has provided him with almost 80 pounds of fish, filling the room. Some of the excess has even started to hang outside. Mark has depended on fishing nets to survive, but as Arctic temperatures fall, his daily catch has been dwindling.
No fish today.
As the temperature drops, more fish are moving in large numbers to deeper waters. Since most fish are cold-blooded animals, they lack the heat-producing organs that mammals have to consistently generate warmth. To keep their body temperature steady, they look for better waters for fish in winter. However, not all fish rely entirely on environmental temperature. Predatory fish like tuna and sharks have evolved partial warm-blooded capabilities to resist the cold. At this moment, the gill net is like a rope on a cliff for Mark. It could either save him or sink him, urging a swift shift in his survival plan. The only escape is to break through, and stumbling upon that big black bear is vital for Mark's survival fight. That day, Mark shook off his exhaustion and grime, set on hunting a big catch to last him 70 days. I must say, Mark's physique is enviable even for a man like me, let alone for women. In subsequent program interviews, it's easy to notice the gear and communication earpiece behind Mark, along with his robust body, indicating that he still maintains some habits from his time in the Marine Corps after retiring. But before setting off, he must routinely check the death traps, just in case he catches a few big fish today. Halfway to the lake, a pile of war relics from the black bear on the ground catches his eye. The bear's been snooping around his camp, checking things out, which feels like finding a pillow just when you need it, as if $1 million landed at his doorstep. After finding his fishing net empty today, Mark's urge to confront the black bear intensifies, and the bear appears oddly accommodating. While Mark slept deeply, the bear cleverly untied the ropes and took all the fish meat, leaving not even the bones for him. The bear is as smart as a 3 to 5-year-old child, so it easily undid the device. Recalling the bear droppings he just found, it feels like a provocation to Mark. Such audacious behavior has completely activated Mark's determination to hunt the bear. He began his bear hunting plan to build a high observation tower. Situated at an elevated spot, he can watch and monitor from the treetops. He can easily spot large animals from several kilometers away, and any creature within his bow and arrows range is unlikely to escape. After a successful hunt, it can be used as a high-altitude food storage rack. This dual-purpose habit is also a result of Mark's years of wilderness survival experience.
I can see a heck of a lot more and see what's coming. I want the advantage. Now I have it.
After a month in the wild, Kalen has slowly picked up some fishing insights. He realized that he couldn't rely solely on snare traps for food, so the abandoned oil barrel he found yesterday would be his turning point. In the competition, participants can use whatever they find, so Kalen aims to turn the oil barrel into a boat. This will let her steer it to deeper waters for fishing, aiming to outshine others and become the new fish queen. In the end, she could easily win this season's $1 million prize, thanks to her knowledge from watching survival tutorials by Bear Grylls and Ed Stafford. Start by chopping spruce trunks to form the raft's framework. Then secure the oil barrel in the center with paracord to increase buoyancy. It won't tip over in the waves and is easy to sit on while casting the hopeful lure. After an hour of hard work, the raft, dubbed Kalen, was launched successfully and tested by climbing aboard. It seemed solid, but trying it on the water needed a calm day. After 2.5 tense days, the lake finally calmed down. Kalen estimates about 2 weeks remain before the lake freezes. So, he needs to stockpile a month's worth of food in just 2 weeks. Otherwise, in bad weather, they'd be stuck in the shelter, munching on roots. Driven by the $1 million prize, Kalen pushed the raft into the water. Getting it afloat smoothly was already half the battle. Kalen then boarded the small boat and gently paddled toward the lake's center. Initially, the journey was relatively smooth, but soon after, trouble arose. While the oil barrel kept it afloat, the boat's bottom barely touched the water. Even a slight wave on the lake could make it sway wildly. Feeling the cold lake water beckoning, Kalen quickly retreated to the shore. Fortunately, she didn't fall in, or the Arctic would have redefined her understanding of cold. It's likely that Kalen won't attempt fishing from a boat again unless she modifies it, transforming it into a wilderness bathtub. Recalling the start of the competition, I remember she was quite eager to order one from Amazon. Meanwhile, Amos on the other side, the sudden drop in temperature brought him considerable trouble. The shadow moving in front of the camera was the biggest threat. Looks like the bear is eyeing Amos as a new addition to its pre-hibernation menu. To protect his smoked fish and himself, he must add a stronger, more reliable security door over the current one. Ensuring safety and insulation, 2 horizontal and 1 vertical make a cover. 2 points and a stand form a board. And the security door was in place. Even I'd sleep better now, but he still needs to secure his fishing net. When he got to the lakeside, he was shocked. Stunned.
Oh my God, the gill net's gone.
After the sea broke the wooden stick once, Amos didn't reinforce it, and this time the sea completely washed away his gill net. This result was undoubtedly a heavy blow, as this was Amos's most cherished treasure in the Arctic Circle. To quickly make up for the lost catch, he must weave a new net before the lake freezes over. The next day's heavy snowfall outside his cabin signals that his chances to fish are dwindling. Over the past 30 days, Amos had been hunting continuously, but easy prey was scarce. The animals he finds are mostly nocturnal, with only the fish in the water being more accommodating. He hopes the new gill net keeps supplying him with food. The following day is Amos's 35th in the Arctic Circle, which coincides with his daughter's 2nd birthday. Hoping for some good fortune, he unexpectedly lands a big pike.
Give me this awesome gift. Some food for my belly.
Once ashore, he quickly performs a ritual by hitting a wooden fish. Physical transcendence. Amos expressed that if this fish could be made into his favorite dish, carp noodle stew, and it must be done with the eyes, which truly makes today very satisfying. Roland needs some self-care too. She headed out with leftover cow brain in hand, getting ready for secondary resource use. Thanks to lecithin oil in cow brains, it naturally softens leather, so it's used on leather gloves. It boosts glove flexibility and durability, and when used on the skin, it acts as a moisturizer. It helps lock in moisture, shields against winter's chill, hydrates the skin, and wards off frostbite. The main point is it's purely natural without additives, mirroring Bai's method. The main rule for surviving 100 days in the Arctic is to abandon traditional biases. Make the most of every part of the prey, since surviving is key to reaching the goal. $1 million can transform one's future. With predators like black bears and wolverines prowling the Arctic Circle, Roland has to protect his beef, which is as valuable as gold. He doesn't want to waste time on these poachers, so he decided to build a sturdy, solid wood meat storage box. Roland, known for daring choices, opted for logs over 15 centimeters thick for the build. It's just ridiculous to assume small animals would destroy things for food. The carry-on box is lined with spruce branches at the bottom, which helps keep the meat fresh. It also keeps crawling animals out, protecting the meat from contamination. Focus on wolverines. Research shows that wolverines can sniff out food buried under 6 meters of snow, so reinforce meat storage boxes' seal and sturdiness. In everyday life, Roland is a professional lumberjack. With his advanced skills in wood cutting, Roland opted for a mortise and tenon design for the meat storage box. The assembly stays stable by interlocking the wood's protrusions and recesses. This technique provides more stability in cold conditions than using nails. It's also the top method for building in the wild. After setting the height, then hammer wooden stakes into the ground at each corner of the icebox and tighten steel wires between the stakes to ensure that no large animal could overturn it. After 2.5 hours of busy work, a robust natural icebox was constructed, and Roland promptly stored the meat not needed immediately, using spruce branches to keep the pieces apart. He aimed to keep the heavy snow from freezing the pieces together, so he crafted a lid for the icebox and secured it. Even wolverines, black bears struggle with it, and Roland needs a while to access food. Kaylin is surviving on memories, recalling the delicious meals she's enjoyed when protein was scarce. I thought about all the tasty foods I've had, but just remembering them won't fix the issue. Eager to savor 4 dishes per meal someday, she picked up her bow and arrow. She sprang into action, focusing on checking the snare traps first to beat other animals to the catch. On the way, Kaylin was thrilled to discover fresh moose tracks in the snow. Examining the track depth, he felt sure the moose had passed by recently. Just as Kaylin rekindled his hope of catching the moose, his traps dashed his expectations. After checking all the traps, he found them empty, and his high hopes plummeted to a cold low. He could only think back to his pre-competition dreams with his husband of winning the prize, buying an RV, and embarking on a world tour to reignite his motivation. But just as Kaylin was about to return to camp to rest, he unexpectedly noticed a moose ambling nearby. Kaylin was ready this time. He stealthily approached and aimed to strike with precision. However, after a brief pursuit, the moose abruptly disappeared. Missing the $1 million opportunity twice left Kaylin unable to control his emotions. Anyone in his position would feel deep regret. Perhaps regret is the main theme of life.
He was right there. That's good news, right? That's good. I'm just so prospect of having that much food.
In later interviews, Kalen often expressed his regret over this experience. Though he wasn't a top-notch jungle hunter, he tried every possible way to strive for success. At this point, you might wonder if there's a contestant who can rival Roland. Mark stands out as the top contender, boasting a shelter with a semi-automatic door designed to keep black bears at bay. Inside, a stash of smoked fish as valuable as gold, with stacked kindling and firewood, and a simple yet comfortable single bed for leisure. He can lean back on a wooden chair and enjoy a warm cup of tea. And the core of this shelter is a fireplace that provides warmth and cooks meat. He keeps valuable antler ornaments on the top shelf. If Mark can gather enough food and no unexpected events occur, the $1 million prize could very well be taken from Roland. Once the Arctic was blanketed in snow, his prized gill net stopped producing results for quite a while. After a bear recently raided his supplies, he must carefully manage his daily food intake. Now, he relies entirely on snare traps to provide some protein. Fortunately, the snow leaves behind animal tracks, allowing him to set snares on their paths to food. As soon as the prey touches the bottom of the wire loop, all that awaits them is cumin, chili, and sesame oil. While traps aren't the best method for catching prey, they're the sole passive option when the lake freezes. They may not always work, but they can reignite hope at critical moments, like this snare with just a tuft of fur left. The footprints and urine stains left in the snow prove that animals are out foraging. A cunning fox got there first. Once a fox claims territory, it marks it with urine and keeps a close patrol to monitor the situation. This discovery means that while Mark searches for his next meal, he must be wary of both bear attacks and opportunistic foxes. Usually cheerful, Kelly is particularly serious today. Her home now has an adorable new guest, and Kelly seems quite fond of it, as she didn't send the short-tailed vole flying when it licked the leftovers on the cutting board, but instead quietly observed its behavior. In winter, the vole's fur changes from brown to white, using natural colors to protect itself. After living alone for so long, Kelly's heart craves comfort, and maybe this little vole will be her playful friend. After finding some solace in her heart, it's time to feast. Kelly's early snare trap setup was all for this moment, as winter is her harvest season. Today, she had a great start. Before she could express gratitude for nature's bounty, her traps brought another success. Even more astonishing, the third trap yielded a triple catch, making it all feel surreal. Kelly could hardly believe it, holding a bounty of rabbits in her arms. These 4 plump snow rabbits would provide her with 72 grams of precious fat, 650 grams of protein. Are the wheels of fate? We're starting to turn at this moment? Such a bountiful scene was the outcome Kelly had dreamed of countless times. At the same time, Mark's anxiety grew due to the lack of food. Eagerly, he went to check his traps early the next morning. But when he reached the traps, he's stunned finding a fox, reminiscent of legendary Dodgy. This little fox was equally tempting to Mark's hungry stomach, but he dared not act. Due to local regulations, contestants are prohibited from hunting foxes. Under pressure, Mark had no choice but to release the fox. Honestly, I think, without the motion camera, Mark could have ended up with an extra pair of winter gloves. Perhaps it was the fox repaying a debt of gratitude. Or maybe luck was finally on Mark's side. The excitement of getting food was a sensation he hadn't felt in ages. He realized he waited too long. After checking traps, he inspected the gill net and found a big fish.
Oh, man, got a fish!
It's rare to find active fish near the shore in winter, so catching a large whitefish at this time was enough to fill Mark with confidence for the days ahead. A full belly leads to idle thoughts. Joel was a prime example. He thrived for over a month thanks to fishing success, and with 2 weeks' worth of fish still stored, he found himself constantly crafting. He made all sorts of chairs, and today he planned to carve a bowl from wood. Though he ate regularly, his self-imposed rations were quite sparse. He could tell his body was struggling, requiring frequent breaks soon after beginning work, so much so that it took him until nightfall to finish the basic shape, after which he refined it with charcoal, a method that saved time and effort while smoothing the bowl's interior. To put it bluntly, this was a city kid falling in love with rural life, and it was quite the spectacle. Around 10 at night, just as he lay down dreaming of a better tomorrow, he heard a sudden noise outside. Fearing someone was taking his valuable dried meat, he rushed to the scene, but by the time he arrived, it was too late. As expected, a wolverine was snatching fish from the rack, but Joel ignored it at that moment. He quickly grabbed a ladder to check his fishing rods, took down the fish, and counted them. Realizing the wolverine had eaten 10 pieces of dried meat, paining him greatly. What could have lasted him over half a month would now barely stretch a week. It was then he realized that the storage rack he had painstakingly built not only offered no benefits, but almost led to disaster. Joel looked back at himself. He felt foolish. Wolverines are opportunistic hunters, active mainly at night, never missing an easy meal. In unaired footage, Joel discovered a cow carcass recently gnawed by a wolverine. Faced with the wolverine he despises, he plans to use the carcass to punish this poacher. The warning device hasn't gone off for days, suggesting the wolverine is nearby. Concerned about the wolverine stealing food again, Joel opted to keep all the fish indoors this time for safety. He created an underground insulated box to preserve precious fish. Finally, he places the valuable fish meat into a square pit he dug using a stick. Next, wooden stakes are placed around the pit for support, and spruce branches are added inside for padding and protection. Since the soil temperature at about 15 centimeters underground changes more slowly than the air temperature, with temperatures below -10 degrees, Joel is confident the fish will stay well preserved. After storing the fish, Joel makes the most of the mild weather. He had to stockpile firewood for the harsh winter, but with just one meal a day, facing what seemed like an easy physical task, it was now an extreme challenge for his body. The lack of electrolyte replenishment left him feeling exhausted and overheated, shortness of breath. When the body cannot obtain enough glucose as an energy source, the body switches to ketosis, breaking down fat for energy, which might cause lasting neurological issues. This can affect cognitive and behavioral abilities, but the million-dollar prize, he pushed his body to the limit time and again, but this time. After 2 days of rest and adjustment, Joel's leg not only didn't improve, it worsened daily as Joel scrimped and saved, eating a small piece of fish. Jerky was nibbled by a wolverine, causing imbalance between food intake and expenditure. His thighs frequently became uncontrollable, making it hard to stand, especially with the harsh winter setting in. Despite his growing physical weakness making it hard to catch food, Joel confessed that the lure of $1 million was too strong. He planned to hold on longer to turn things around, thinking of his wife waiting at home. He felt he should heed his wife's advice and withdraw if his body couldn't take it. Joel was the fourth to bow out. His body gave no choice. Joel was really hesitant to quit, even though he mentally wanted to keep competing. Sadly, the food shortage weakened his physical strength. In the end, he lasted 40 days. This season showcased a thrilling 40-day competition. At this point, 6 survival experts remain, and the upcoming extreme sub-zero conditions will be the true test of wilderness survival. The frigid winter nights keep Mark, far from home, wide awake. He took out a photo of his beloved son, which served as the spiritual force keeping him going. As the snow fell heavily and with little else to occupy him, he chose to craft a wooden horse for his son. Bring it home as a long-awaited gift, hoping this experience will inspire his son's lifelong growth. During the crafting process, Mark was extremely careful, fearing he might ruin the carving. Despite caution, excess force caused Mark to snap horse's leg. However, just at that moment, that's it for this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more updates in the next episode. If Roland is the black bear terminator living alone in the wilderness, that one catch caught 4 big fish at once, with him who is a meter-level noble fish. It must be a fish harvester. This earth-shattering harvest enabled Mark to save 80 gen of fish when I thought I had smoothly pocketed $1 million. But he never expected that a big fire would burn down his shelter.
Oh my God. I just lit my shelter on fire. You'll burn somewhere else, bitch.
This moment, Mark's previous efforts all felt like they had come back to square one. An Arctic night with temperatures as low as -10 degrees Celsius. He sat in front of the campfire, looking at the broken shelter. Being alone makes one feel a bit lonely. His handsome face has lost a bit of the vigor and vitality of having 4 fish a day in the past. Plus, I was caught by a black bear a few days ago. I stole over 10 pounds of dried fish. Now, half of the house has been swallowed up by the fire again, and in the face of millions of US dollars. Mark felt that this shouldn't be a reason to defeat him, recalling the life and death moments in the Marine Corps in the past. I hope this can reignite the desire to fight. After all, every boy with a strong appearance, everyone has a heart that needs to be soothed. After spending a night in the dilapidated wooden house, Mark began to work on restoring the hope that had been burned by the fire. This time, he dared not fill it with twigs or moss again. Instead, a tarpaulin was chosen as a substitute. This way, prolonged high-temperature smoking can be avoided, even if flammable materials stick to it in the future. That's also much easier to clean up. Hopefully, Mark can overcome the difficulties, break the existing deadlock, become a dark horse that has broken through and been reborn. After all, I still quite like his personal charm. $1 million have been snatched from Roland, and on the other side, Amos, who was competing with Mark for the title of Fish King at the same time. However, they are living a wonderful and prosperous life with no worries about food and drink. But with the low temperatures in the Arctic, it keeps encroaching on the lake water. The activity time of the fish is also continuously decreasing. This led to an increasing number of Air Force operations involving Amos's barbed net. This is because at colder temperatures, the metabolic rate of fish will also slow down, so it will make them feel less hungry. In addition, most of the time, it is in a state of hibernation. This led Amos to develop food storage anxiety. I don't dare to eat as heartily as before, although he has not encountered food problems in the Arctic yet. But up to now, my weight has still dropped by 27 pounds. So the new ways to obtain food are for Amos, that was extremely urgent. And the heavy snow coverage will make the traces left by animals more obvious. So they set lasso traps along the way of the snow rabbit to improve its food. Eat spicy rabbit heads for a while. Kaylin next door has set up around 200 of these things. The effect can be said to be no worries about food and drink. I have no idea about the rabbits in this area. Can this man who has come out of the war in his hometown be saved? But when getting up and continuing to set traps, a distinct animal footprint beside him instantly made him frown. It feels just like fox footprints. They are outright opportunistic predators. In addition, it is a protected animal belonging to the Arctic Circle. It seems that the fox has set its sights on Amos. As night fell, Amos aimed to prevent large animals from attacking him in the middle of the night. He intends to make a long spear to carry with him, although he has the king of distance, the bow and arrow, in hand. Close-range group fights are allowed. That really has no chance of winning at all. After all, the difference between life and death lies in an instant. But just as he was working hard, suddenly, a rapid cry of a rabbit came from outside the house. Amos heard the commotion immediately. I'm afraid that if I'm one step too late, I'll be covered with rabbit hair all over the ground. After arriving at the scene, Amos unleashed his precious skill of 6 sticks in 1 second and comforted him, saying, "Dizziness is a normal phenomenon. It won't happen tomorrow morning." But at night, he didn't dare to deal with the rabbit directly, because I was very worried that the black bear would come to my door for a late-night snack by smelling the blood. So early the next morning,
Wow, my first snare. More food, more days here.
I hurried to the lakeside to deal with the rabbit meat. He has been eating fish for over a month. I can't wait to have the spicy rabbit head that I've been longing for. As winter approaches, the snow rabbit will turn its fur white so as to achieve the effect of disguising and protecting oneself. Amos chose to handle it by the lake. The purpose is to prevent the smell of blood from attracting big black bears. After all, the smell of blood is not a good thing in the winter when no one is around. At this time, all the animals are resorting to any means to obtain food. I never expected that I had just finished dealing with the rabbit. The fox followed the smell and came over, facing such top-quality charcoal-grilled meat skewers. Amos, however, was hesitant to make a move. This is because the snow rabbits in the Arctic Circle reproduce too rapidly, so foxes are needed as animals to maintain ecological balance. This has led to it becoming a local protected species. Perhaps the fox knows that it is a protective animal.
No, come back here. The bun is mine.
I thought it would leave after eating up all the internal organs on the stone, but it never expected that this little bit of food could not fill its greedy stomach at all. The fox walked straight towards Amos. It seems as if they were saying, "Hand over the meat quickly." Amos doesn't want to give up $1 million. Raise a fox that has nothing to do with it. So I just shot it with a blunt arrow to teach it how to be a human. The appearance of the fox made Amos feel extremely helpless. Due to local laws, they were unable to hunt. It seems that traps need to be checked frequently in the future. If one day you also want to experience it, a sense of redemption from living alone in the wilderness. But if you happen to forget to bring toothpaste, those spruce leaves are you. A good alternative for cleaning teeth. It can play a certain role in strengthening tooth enamel. It also helps to remove the acidic substances that cause tooth decay. After Kelly finished her daily cleaning, it's time for the traps to have a bumper harvest. 4 rabbits were harvested at once 2 days ago. It made Kelly feel the joy of the harvest season. But happy times are always short. Although it can temporarily solve the problem of food and clothing, but still, I couldn't resist the fact that my weight had dropped by 20%. I want to endure the cold winter until the 100th day. Both food and fat are necessary conditions. And that delicious little porcupine from last time. The rich yet not greasy taste has always lingered in my mind. Porcupine footprints appeared on the snow at just the right time.
I think this is my good friend, Mr. Porcupine.
This is just like having a pillow when you're sleepy. I want to tell if the footprints are from porcupines. It's actually very simple, because its front paws only have 4 fingers. Then the soles of the feet have 5. This obvious feature can clearly distinguish it. But when Kelly followed the disordered footprints all over the ground, it made her lose her way in an instant, adhering to the principle that one cannot return empty-handed once they go out. So Kelly has to be around here. Set up several lasso traps around. Let's take a chance and see if they'll be fooled, even if we can't get porcupines. Having 2 snow rabbits is also a nice dinner. When checking the next day, sure enough, there was a harvest. Kelly really admires her smart little head. Although its value and weight are far inferior to those of porcupines, but it's still much better than going hungry. It is particularly important to maintain a contented mindset when surviving in the wild. After bringing the rabbit back to the camp,
I'm a porcupine!
This is celebrating my 7th Halloween spent in the wild. At the same time, I also celebrated my persistence until the 44th day. How hard it has been to come this far. Only oneself knows to say goodbye to the hard days of the past. Kelly specially prepared to eat the whole rabbit she just caught today while satisfying one's own stomach. It also implies that there will be more gains in the future. You would never imagine it. The shelter behind him, which was drafted on all sides. It turned out to be a masterpiece of Joe's craftsmanship that took him over 40 days to complete. A person huddled in the howling cold night of the Arctic at minus tens of degrees Celsius. What kind of experience would it be? It seems that Joe's physical fitness is no ordinary person either. Keep working on carving wood to improve the house. So far, Joe's laid back and relaxed philosophy of living in the wilderness. It made his already thin body lose 15% of its weight. Not long ago, 2 pieces of wood could still be added to the house. Nowadays, even half a stick seems exhausted. I had the physical strength, but didn't want to do it before. I just don't have the energy to do it now. I had no choice but to work for 5 minutes and rest for the whole day. Early the next morning, his hungry stomach urged him to check the lasso trap. Look at this guy's luck. It's really enviable. Just a few dozen traps were set. I never expected that the first one would bring me such a big gain, and it was a whole rabbit that had never been tasted by predators. Perhaps this is what we call the lazy having their own blessings. Next came the second one. Tell Joe to take him back to the camp as soon as possible to have his hair and bones removed. Pair it with a pot of high soup. Enable the rabbit to achieve a thorough elevation. The last bite is directly put into the mouth. The rabbit's legs are tender and bony. The meat is firm and not tough. It's just too delicious. However, this kind of house with north-south ventilation still has its advantages. The fragrant smell of meat could reach the noses of the wolves. The sun has just set. The Wolf King let out a roar. Gather the wolves and get ready to launch an attack on Joe's camp. I just don't know if Joe, with his small build, can hold up. Fortunately, Joe was still alive the next morning. It seems that the rabbit I ate yesterday has some kind of magic. He hasn't done morning exercises today. The improvement of the shelter has already begun, and half of the wall is almost completed. But now for him, $1 million is no longer important. The shelter can be built well. It's the best account he can give to himself. I had just finished my adrenaline rush. Joe's legs began to go weak again. It feels as if I've been completely drained. At this stage, eating too much won't help. I feel that the main problem is still the lack of electrolytes. In the end, Joe still picked up that satellite phone. He knew that it was no longer meaningful for him to hold on any longer. My own physical condition can't hold up for the 100th day either. It's better to go home early to spend time with your family and take good care of your health. If Joe had enough food in stock, then this wilderness villa he built with his bare hands. We believe that the day of its completion will surely amaze us. In order to win $1 million. Kaylin struggled in the wild for over 40 days. She only has 2 things to do every day now. Besides looking for food everywhere, I'm just thinking of my husband. 8 years of marital life. It made her miss it, especially during this period of time. But excessive yearning. So in order to relieve loneliness, she had no choice but to keep busy. At the same time, they are also making preparations for the upcoming freezing cold. After dealing with the firewood for the coming week, it's time for the little belly to make up for it. Now, Kaylin's only food left is a rabbit, so she is very much looking forward to getting something from the trap. But when she saw the lynx footprints on the snow, I just sensed that something was not quite right. Shelly is a highly skilled jungle hunter. It can detect prey at a distance of over 60 meters. This terrifying discovery made Kaylin frown. Hurry to the place where you set the trap. Sure enough, this trapped rabbit is now in a complete mess.
Damn it! Found my catch.
Then hurry up and check the next trap. I never thought this one would eat even cleaner. There was only a tuft of rabbit hair left at the desk. The hateful poachers really don't leave any way for Kaylin to survive. At this moment, Kaylin's mindset was completely defeated by reality. I regret not having checked the trap earlier, combining the moose and big fish that have already missed 2 waves before. Now, when I finally managed to catch a rabbit, it was snatched away. It seems that everything is against me. Now, it has turned into painful tears. A long period of solitude for one person. It's inevitable that there will be times when one needs to vent their emotions.
I really miss Dave.
I'm just a really huggy person. I like to hold hands. No physical contact. I sort of have an emptiness that just sort of slowly appears.
That there will be times when one needs to vent their emotions. The girl who once shouted excitedly under the aurora in the Arctic Circle. This night, however, was silent. When the sun shines upon the earth again the next day, it seems that Kaylin has adapted to this moment that requires her to face it alone. The sadness and regret of yesterday have been turned to this moment. Her eyes shone with a determined and upward light. No longer regret what has already happened. So Kaylin set off again this morning to catch rabbits. Perhaps the heavens did not wish to see such a beautiful girl shed tears as precious as pearls. I never expected that the first trap would lead to such a huge gain. The key point is that this rabbit is still intact. This solved the food problem for 3 days at once. The surprises left for her today were far from over. I never expected that the second trap would trap another one. Today,
All right, it's 2 for the day. Hey, caramba, I got another one. Holy schmoly, that's 3 today.
consecutive gains. At least a week's food problem has been solved. 3 snow rabbits in my hand that I could hardly lift. It reignited Kalen's hope to persist for 100 days. It seems that the only one who can defeat Kalen is a stronger self. When the sun rises again on the 45th day, the small boat of the program team is like a sharp sword in the sky. It slid open the long, silent lake surface. This means that one of the contestants dialed the call to withdraw from the competition. As the small boat kept approaching the shore, the ultimate truth is about to come to light. Never expected. It turned out to be my favorite contestant.
The whole reason why I'm doing this to show my son what it's like to do something really hard and not quit. But I want my son to know that it is okay to quit something when you are worried about your health.
Mark's withdrawal is indeed a bit of a pity. In fact, he is quite good in all aspects. Moreover, the dried smoked fish stored there is still enough to last for a while. It was just that the last line of defense in one's heart was breached. The difficulty of this kind of challenge lies in the inability to predict the unknown. At the same time, everything around, all of them will gradually devour the hope they have picked up again, and not to mention being alone. A silent and tossing night. It's hard to avoid letting oneself have wild thoughts. Under the dual pressure of both physical and mental stress, it is highly likely that one will call out to withdraw from the competition. And after Mark dialed the number to withdraw from the competition, a fox appeared near his camp. Judged by body shape and coat color, it's probably the one that was rescued from the trap by Mark. Perhaps it has already sensed Mark's departure. Come to bid farewell to your savior on his final journey after a safe evacuation.
Fox, you coming to thank me? Yeah, you're welcome. Did a lot of good things. I'm tired.
The program team gave Mark a full physical examination. It was found that multiple organs of his were infected with iron nematodes. The heart, liver, spleen, and lungs have all been damaged to varying degrees. Mark made the most correct decision at that time. Otherwise, it is highly likely that one's life will be in danger. Although we lost the game, but it won a whole body of health. At this moment, I want to say to Mark and my friends in front of the screen, the preciousness of life does not lie in its length. It lies in those limited times. Feel, give, and create the moment. This man is the spiritual totem of every wilderness survival enthusiast. With just a small knife, it can be done. The 900-pound musk ox goes to sleep obediently. It is also the ultimate wilderness machine that can make black bears voluntarily offer gloves. He is Roland, who has been pursuing extreme wilderness challenges all his life. Although Roland held several hundred pounds of wild beef in his hand, it is by no means easy to survive in the Arctic Circle for 100 days. So at this point, he needs to search for musk oxen as much as possible. All those precious fats on the body that are comparable to gold. The fat on the lower lip of the musk ox's face and inside its ears. In addition, there is also a layer of fat between the cartilage and the flesh. And the reason why Roland went to great lengths to get fat, that is because when the human body senses that the external temperature is too low, it will generate energy by breaking down body fat to maintain core body temperature. Part of this energy is used to maintain basal metabolism. Another part is directly converted into heat. So, keep consuming enough fat in the wild. Can we better cope with the extreme challenges in winter? Roland, in real life. The identity of an Alaska wilderness guide. This thus prompted him to become part of this game. The contestant with the strongest comprehensive ability in the competition. But he expressed his regret for not being born in the ancient tribal era. Otherwise, he must have been a renowned and brave warrior. I wonder if you have noticed a detail. With an adequate supply of food, there is a wall of men don't dead wood piled up at the entrance of Roland food. It's likely to burn continuously for a month without any fear. This shows that he holds great awe for the unknowns of nature. When the 46th day's sun shone upon this extremely cold land, the solitary life in the wilderness made Roland rather dull. I had no choice but to talk to the crow about life. The crow is one of his favorite birds. Because the ratio of brain volume to body weight of Anatidae animals is close to that of primates, this makes them have a very high IQ. When facing land threats, it will actively emit low-frequency sounds. It enables humans and animals to easily predict potential dangers around them in advance. Just for this point, this can reduce the probability of animals being preyed upon. After opening up your heart for a while, Roland once again came to the Great Nuo Lake, which he both loved and hated. However, every time he throws the gill net, it makes him especially nervous and frightened. One can see the exceptionally gentle lake surface today.
One last attempt to catch another fish at Danger Rock.
He laid out the familiar barb net for him, bringing the old positions of those two turning point fish. I hope it will be restocked again. It can still bring new hope. However, Roland had just made a wish. I never expected it to come true right away.
Muskox everywhere.
On a half slope over 100 meters away from the opposite side, there was actually a large group of musk oxen active. Such a spectacular scene of a beef feast. Roland is also extremely rare in life. If we get involved a few more times, then what else do the other players play? Just watch Roland survive alone in the wilderness. And that's it. However, Roland wasn't so hungry as to take on the musk cattle herd alone, based on his experience and risk assessment. If one were to attack the musk bull herd, two outcomes will occur. Either be trampled by a herd of musk oxen, either they are frightened and flee in a panic. Perhaps it's possible to run onto the territory of other players. This way, not only was no benefit gained at all, instead, it even increases the difficulty of one's own survival. It's better to choose to take a quiet and silent detour. After all, my own savings are still enough to last for a while. It has to be said. Roland's cautious attitude. Early the next morning, Roland couldn't wait to check the barbed net because he is very much looking forward to tonight's wild feast. The appetizer is fish head soup. The main course is charcoal grilled beef tenderloin with a bowl of sashimi. The dessert after the meal was crispy fried fish tails. Such a luxurious cuisine. I was also drooling with envy as I watched it. I'd like to ask Roland, have you forgotten that you have hidden a lot of blueberry berries? Although the weather with wind and snow is very bad, but it still couldn't stop Roland's winning steps. Although he walked especially carefully with a cane, but I still tripped over nature. Fortunately, it didn't hit the back of the head. Otherwise, I'm really afraid of falling here and not coming. It's just that my right knee feels a little painful. It should not affect the following matches. After getting up again, head straight to the shore to check the gill net you've been longing for. But that barbed net had already been blown off the shore by the wind and waves. This scene of watching one's precious child lose. Roland was so angry that he blurted out his native language on the spot. But after venting, we still have to find a way to get the barbed net back. After all, this was the only tool for him to obtain the carnival fish feast. The next day, Roland found a 6-meter-long tree trunk, taking the risk of possibly falling into the icy lake water. He managed to rescue the barbed net from the lake water.
Hanging on me or anything. That was so dangerous.
The camera turns to Amos's side. The first thing to do after getting up is to check the barbed net that sustains one's life. As the temperature in the Arctic continues to drop, the days when fish can be caught are getting fewer and fewer. He had only 1 week's worth of grain left. I hope I can gain something today. When he reached the shore through the thick snow, the pole used to fix the barbed wire was found. All were covered with a thick layer of ice. It's just like hope has been frozen. After processing the ice, quickly scoop it out to have a look. The plump and big fish I've been longing for is not there.
Got a big hole down there, a couple of big holes.
At this moment, Amos also realized barbed wire has passed its own era. I want to put it to use again. Then we can only wait until the lake freezes over to break the ice and go winter fishing. And then it was time for the bow and arrow and the spear to fight for them. The situation where mountains are blocked by heavy snow will lead to this cruel survival game in the cold winter. The drama of the survival of the fittest will be played out more and more frequently. The footprints left on the snow around the camp at this moment. This further confirms that the local wild wolves have already listed themselves as strategic supplies for the winter. A conservative estimate suggests that at least 3 passed through here. It seems that this winter might be a bit tough, but at present, there is one more difficult matter than the wolves. That means there are only 3 frozen fish left in my own savings. I want to get through this winter smoothly. It's probably inevitable to have a dance with wolves. After returning to the shelter, Amos was having breakfast while thinking about the remaining food. How can it be distributed so as not to go hungry? He believes that only by making soup as much as possible can the food be utilized to the fullest. So Amos immediately got up and took action. When collecting firewood to take the last stored fish to be smoked, a clear howl of a wolf came from outside the house. A wolf. It feels as if the distance of this sound is nearby. Ames opened the door and leaned out to take a look around. It was found not around the camp. Hurry to the bushes and dig birch bark to make firewool. He said that when encountering wolves, one must pretend to be calm, put on an air of not being easy to bully. But the prerequisite is that you must have the real thing in your hand. After peeling off the bark, he hurried back to the shelter to hide, not daring to linger outside for even a second. After all, Amos himself has not yet truly joined the pack of wolves, a head-on battle that you have little chance of winning. Early the next morning, Amos intends to set up several more traps. By the way, get some firewood to keep warm. But I never expected that when I opened the door to take a look. Good grief. Right at the door, there was a greedily-eyed gray wolf staring at him. At this point, the distance between the two sides was only a little over 3 meters. The air was filled with the smell of gunpowder from an instant explosion. After a round of inspection, I found the camp. It has already been occupied and fallen by the wolves. Amos wasn't paying attention at all. It is highly likely that the wolf will pounce on it. In their explosive sprint speed, it can generally reach 50 to 60 kilometers per hour. At the same time, they can be perceived through smell and hearing. The details perceive the physical condition of the prey. If the wolves are very hungry at this moment, it so happened that the prey was very weak.
Go away, dude.
I never expected that the biggest wolf king would actually leave. Perhaps it was seeing the ancient weapon in his hand. Seeing the eldest brother retreat, the other younger brothers had no choice but to give up. Amos said, if the wolves still don't evacuate, then I really have to draw my bow and shoot arrows to take a chance. It seems that the fish at the door has disappeared, but it's still much better than losing one's life. I'm just afraid that this kind of thing will happen again. When the creatures on land could no longer satisfy Kelly, then she could only reluctantly take action against the fish in the lake. Because in this challenge, he didn't choose to carry a barbed net, so only when there is no food anxiety for the time being. Weave the barbed net. One is to see if we can catch a few fish in these few days to get some fat. Second, winter fishing can be carried out after the lake surface freezes over, because when the lake surface freezes, the oxygen in the water will decrease. At this time, The ice cave that has been broken open will attract a large number of fish to obtain oxygen. At that time, all you need to do is prepare the cumin peppers and you can start eating. And Kelly has been living in the wild since she became an adult. So regarding the matter of winter fishing, I'm still quite good at it. Next, we'll go to the lake to look for a suitable fishing spot. At this moment, the rocks along the shore were covered with thick ice layers. However, every step taken on it is like walking on thin ice. There is a high possibility that beneath the snow lies slippery moss. A slight mistake could lead to falling into the icy lake water. Kelly, who holds a sense of awe towards nature, every step taken was carried out with extreme caution. After arriving at the expected service point without any danger, just as he turned back to get his equipment and embark on his fishing career. Oh, this fall was quite a hard one. Both the brow bone and the upper lip were broken. It really broke my heart, but there was no stroke of luck in the midst of misfortune. Fall into the rough lake. Otherwise, it's really hard to say what will happen next. After carefully returning to the camp, Kelly took out the medical kit prepared by the program team for her to treat her wound. One can't help but admire Kelly's truly optimistic mindset, but facing the way he wiped the bloodstains himself, still self-mocking. It feels like applying eyeshadow. After all, the quality of one's mindset is the most significant factor influencing one's competition. However, Kelly, who survived the gates of hell. At this moment, I'm starting to hesitate about fishing. And in the behind-the-scenes program interviews, Kelly said she would take adequate precautions. Every time before she goes out, a bonfire is always prepared in advance. If this wrestling had taken place not on land, but in the water, then it can be ensured that one can return to the camp to warm up in the first place, rather than making a fire temporarily. This point is worth our learning. So, survive in the wild. One's own life must be in one's own hands. One must maintain a sense of awe towards nature. Kaylin survived in the Arctic for 46 days. This is the first time I have seen a grouse so far. Today, no matter how high or low it is, I have to taste it. The cooking method did not adopt the traditional way of making Kaifeng cuisine, because it's not yet the traditional festival. Kaylin was fortunate enough to have tasted a large goose stewed in a northeastern iron pot before, that indescribable delicacy of the world. It always lingers in my heart and is unforgettable for a lifetime. So after returning to the shelter, immediately, an iron pot was arranged to stew the chicken. Although this thing is several times more delicious than a rabbit, but the grouse is the same as it. It's basically all lean meat. It can only solve the problem of the stomach right now. In the long term, only fish can serve as strategic supplies to resist the cold winter. Due to the previous 3 failed attempts at fishing, the best choice nowadays.
My next best plan.
Facing these little guys, there will be no danger to my life. However, to his regret, the temperature has not yet reached the critical point where the lake surface freezes. It seems that we can only continue to grow in a low-key manner these 2 days. Wait for the trap to catch the rabbit and eat it. After 2 days of anxious waiting, the long-awaited freezing of the lake surface has finally arrived. It seemed as if Kaylin could already see $1 million waving at her. To verify whether the thickness of this ice layer could support one's own weight, he first tried hitting it with a stick. It is necessary to safely accommodate a person weighing 180 pounds standing on it. The ice layer must be at least 10 centimeters thick, so Kaylin was particularly cautious and careful with every step she took while striking. After all, if someone falls from this place, no one will know. After her personal entry into the game, make sure that the current ice surface is not sufficient to meet the conditions for ice fishing. When the warm sun of the 49th day returns, when illuminating this silver lake surface, Kaylin knew that her moment of dominance had finally arrived. The ice layer today is obviously much thicker than that of yesterday, but still, he cautiously probed the road ahead with a wooden stick, start chiseling out an ice hole with an axe. After measuring the thickness with a finger, it was found that the ice layer had reached a depth of 10 centimeters, sufficient to support. Then the rest of the time will no longer be wasted. I turned back to the shore and cut some spruce branches to use as cushions. Kaylin couldn't stand sitting on the ice for a long time. She took out all the bait she had specially saved before. The purpose is to prove that one's fishing skills are no less than others. At this moment, Kaylin stared intently at the flowing lake water beneath the ice. I was full of hope that a fish would be willing to offer itself to fill its hungry stomach. Obtaining the result itself is a long process. Don't know how long I have been suffering in the bone-chilling cold wind with ice skates. Even the gloved fingers were almost numb from the cold. Not a single fish was willing to bite the hook, just when he was about to give up. This moment, the pent-up depression and unhappiness that had been accumulated in the heart for a long time. Finally, I was completely released today. For Kaylin, this is not merely about having a fish to fill one's stomach. It is also her confidence and hope to overcome the Arctic winter. It is also one step closer to $1 million. The fat content of Huzun fish can reach 40% in winter. Moreover, its maximum body length can reach up to 1.5 meters. This is exactly the kind of fish that Kaylin wants most for the winter, right? Kaylin had been sitting down for only a few minutes. Once again, I was favored by Lady Luck.
Yep. Oh my god, it's bigger than the last one.
This one is compared to the previous one. The ones visible to the naked eye are fatter and more plump, and Kaylin was visibly happy.
Yep.
The unrestrained laughter resounded throughout the entire forest. These two Zun fish, each weighing approximately 10 pounds. It is sufficient to support Kaylin's food consumption for the coming week, prevent the ice from being refrozen by heavy snow. Hailing covered the top with spruce branches. It seems that I'll be woken up by fish meat, even in my dreams tonight. The next extreme cold survival challenge. As long as no accidents occur and today's harvest level is maintained, then I can still go head-to-head with Roland. Thank you for your patience in watching. Welcome to like and subscribe to my channel. Watch more wilderness survival films. The moment this fish was pulled out of the ice, this is not a dinner, but it's her next week. The key to survival or not. In the Arctic, where the temperature drops to -10 or so degrees Celsius, she has endured for over 50 days. If a stable source of food cannot be found again, she may be forced to withdraw from the competition at any time. And just when she was almost at her limit, fate finally gave her a chance. But the real test, it has just begun. After returning to the camp, Kaylin divided one of them into 9 parts. He has been eating rabbit meat stewed with grass roots for nearly a month. Enjoy yourself well tonight. The long-awaited fried fish fillets. The charming burnt aroma that bursts out from the oil at high temperatures. It almost made Kaylin lick her fingers in the bottom of the pot so hard that sparks appeared. When the survival challenge reached the 52nd day, the current temperature in the Arctic is -12 degrees Celsius. It was very pleasant for Kelly to sing while tidying up the firewood, because she had set up hundreds of lasso traps in the early stage. The heavy snow blocking the mountains was for her. It is undoubtedly the white harvest season. Almost every day, a snow rabbit is collected. Sometimes, it can even achieve 4 consecutive hits. Just at this moment, a grizzly bear suddenly appeared not far away. Kelly, this girl who loves to smile, has a really good mindset. When all the other contestants were extremely anxious about the food, she still has the energy to deliberately cheer everyone up. This dress of Kelly is traditional. The Ninets people make it from reindeer skins. It has an excellent effect in resisting cold and keeping warm. And when it comes to the Ninets, they are indigenous people living in Siberia. There are 260 days in a year spent in ice and snow, and generations of Ninets people have made a living by domesticating reindeer in their traditional life. Food, clothing, tools, and transportation. It is basically maintained by reindeer. But nowadays, the culture and living environment of the Ninets people are both very fragile because they rely solely on reindeer for survival. And in today's world of global warming, an era of excessive energy consumption, if the natural circulation system of the Arctic Circle is not protected with great efforts, after Kelly checked all the traps around, I unexpectedly had no gains today. It seems that the heavy snow has already melted down before. All the lassos set up have been covered. We'll have to do it again when the snow stops. So he shifted his target to porcupines. The porcupine obtained at the beginning of the game. The tender, yet not greasy taste of the meat always lingers in my heart. The key point is that it also has that extremely precious fat, even if a large number of rabbits voluntarily threw themselves into the arms. But Kelly never gave up her original intention of looking for porcupines. After continuous and sustained tracking, it feels like this crevice of the stone is its nest. The snow was covered with disordered porcupine footprints. The bark around also has fresh marks left by being gnawed. But unfortunately, the porcupine happened to be out of home at this time. Since we can't have grilled pork chops today, then set a trap on the path he must take to get to 8 in the morning. As long as the porcupine comes back, it is bound to be trapped. Kelly couldn't wait to put on her bow and arrow. I'm going to take a porcupine home, because tonight she's going to feast on a long-awaited fried pork cutlet. On the way there, I was thinking about it. Imagine a sumptuous feast in the coming week. But after arriving at the destination, I never thought this porcupine was quite intelligent. This directly pushed the trap aside and averted it. It also reflects that this porcupine should be relatively large in size, and having experienced a lot of ups and downs. Lasso traps are just a piece of cake. Kelly saw that the trap she had painstakingly set was broken. No matter what we say today, it is also necessary to bring the porcupine back. The merciless winter has arrived. I need more food to provide energy and hold on until the day. Perhaps the opportunity to change one's destiny is right before one's eyes. After a period of ideological struggle, Kelly resolutely leaned her body into the crevice of the stone, and the result was just as I had expected. Sure enough, there was the porcupine I had been longing for in the crevice of the stone. It's just that it's hidden in the distance, the deepest part of the 4-meter deep rock crevices of my own. However, if one keeps pushing in, if he is caught, it is highly likely to be firmly stuck in the narrow crevice of the rock. So Kelly, who was in the prime of her youth, a more conservative approach was chosen. In order to enable the porcupine to move to the appropriate starting position, Kelly ran to the other side of the rock. Used sweet talk with him.
Little guy, I only want to eat you.
A little porcupine growing up in the countryside. I've never heard a pretty girl from the city say such words to me. He/she immediately followed the instructions obediently. Then Kelly quickly returned to the crevice in front of her. One shot was successful and hit the target. However, porcupines were attacked, but they hid deeper into the ground. Kelly had no choice but to take the risk and climb into the cave again. In the end, the porcupine was pulled out of the crevices of the stone without any danger. Before winter sets in, this guy will go crazy getting food. Thus, they accumulate more than 40% of their own body weight in fat to withstand the Arctic winter that lasts for about 6 months. And this abundance of resources for the winter, it can provide Kelly with energy for at least half a month. Besides, this little porcupine weighs only a few dozen pounds. It is still the best choice before the lake freezes over. This is why Kelly was so desperate and risked her life to get it. If you are in such a dilemma, would you take a huge risk of withdrawing from the competition to get a porcupine? It's -10 or so degrees outside at this moment, and Kelly was leaning against the warm campfire. I was looking forward to handling this delicacy with great anticipation. There is no doubt that tonight is the most wonderful and pleasant night in the Arctic. I was thinking of having the pork offal soup with fried pork chops later. That feeling was just so cool. However, when she slid open the porcupine's belly, I never expected that all the fantasies would eventually shatter. This guy turned out to be a sick pig. The pig liver is already covered with white bubbles. These are the symptoms of tularemia. Tularemia is classified as a second-class infectious disease. If eaten, it is very likely to be infected with the virus and your life will be in danger. But it's hard to get $1 million without eating. This moment made all of Kelly's efforts in vain. Roland has nothing to do today. I'm ready to pick up the axe and do something big. He had been unable to figure it out before. Why is there always a squirrel staying in the tree beside its food? I didn't leave until today when I finally had time to learn the truth. It turned out that the squirrel had mushrooms stored in the tree for the winter. There's no reason to miss out on such a good thing that comes right to your door. Roland didn't hesitate for a moment. He directly swung the axe and cut down the tree to snatch the mushrooms. Because tonight, I'm gonna have a dish of beef stewed with tomatoes and mushrooms that I've been longing for. I'm tired of eating monotonous beef for a month in a row. It's necessary to change the taste to adjust it. Squirrels lose 1/3 of their body weight during hibernation, so it needs to store enough food to maintain. And Roland, you're full. That lovely Mr. Squirrel. I'm afraid I won't be able to survive this winter. The mantis catches the cicada. The yellow finch is behind. Immediately after, Roland took out the musk cow scalp that he had scoured countless times. Sew it up with umbrella ropes to make a backpack. Besides being able to hold small mushrooms now, it can also be taken back as a very memorable collectible. If squirrels could talk, then it will surely send out a long string of telegrams. At this moment, the temperature outside the house dropped to -15 degrees, and the food was already covered with a thick layer of frost. Want to stay warm? He has to keep the fire burning for 24 hours. At the same time, the snow outside the house also needs to be cleared. Pile them all up on the exterior wall. Roland did this because the snow that had just fallen had not yet been compacted. It is generally 95% trapped air inside, and air is a poor conductor of heat, as is well known. Heat is conducted very slowly in the air. When snow covers the surface of an object, the air trapped in the snow it's like a thick air blanket. It can effectively prevent the transfer of heat. Thus, it can play a more excellent role in heat insulation. Since Kaylin caught 2 big fish in ice fishing last time, there was a noticeable increase in confidence on his face. At the same time, she also generously displayed the results of her wilderness survival over the past 2 months in front of the camera. After experiencing the sweetness brought by fishing, Kaylin plans to make a meal of grilled carp noodles tonight to satisfy her craving. And it has to be the Yanjin approach. Stepping onto the White Lake surface again, clear away the remaining ice at the entrance of the cave. She is about to embark on her fishing journey. Kaylin in her youth. She was originally a gymnast who was determined to participate in the Olympic Games. Due to a back injury, I had no choice but to switch to swimming. The result of the 100-meter backstroke can rank 11th in the country, but later on, all one had to do was enter the water. The heart rate will increase. This forced Kaylin to end her sports career prematurely. By chance, she accidentally discovered coexisting with nature. It has a healing effect on one's own soul, and this is also the reason why she became a field guide. I wonder if the fish have gone on a trip today. It's still because the fish head bait I deliberately made myself wasn't attractive enough. It took 2 hours of cold wind for a fish to bite the hook. But in the end, I didn't even have time to walk the fish. It unleashed a divine dragon tail swing and flung the hook off. Angry, Kaylin cursed and put the bait back into the water. Let's see if it will still change its mind. This big thing is enough for it to eat for several days. It's really painful to lose the results of 2 hours. I had intended to wait a little longer to give it a try. Kaylin felt as if she were about to freeze. There was no choice but to fight again another day. Perhaps those 2 fish are part of the novice period. On the other side, Kelly, the plump porcupine she caught, had never dared to take a bite. One can only place hope once again on the trap. But in the Arctic winter, it snows day and night. It makes it very difficult to fetch water, chop firewood, and obtain food. Kelly reset all the traps buried under the snow, nor did I get any food from it. It seems that the claim of the white harvest season is a bit unreliable. I had no choice but to carry some firewood home to keep warm. Amos, the fish king who was once the overlord of the water. Since the snowfall began, it has been rare to catch fish to eat. Just 2 days ago, my food was snatched away by a pack of wolves. The last fish can only be consumed within a limited time and quantity. Originally, he wanted to return to his peak after the lake froze over, but the result was that the food was all eaten up. The lake surface has not frozen either. Now he could only pin his hopes on the remade sequined lure. Amos hurried to the lake to test the effect. Look at his way of throwing the rod. It is often exposed to the sun for 8 hours on ordinary days. Fish grow as the temperature continues to drop. Start swimming in large numbers towards deeper waters. Since most fish are cold-blooded animals, they do not have heat-producing organs in their bodies like mammals do to stabilize the production of heat and maintain a constant body temperature, so they will look for more suitable water areas in winter. Even in such a situation, Amos also has to constantly try to break the deadlock. Just at this moment, happiness came too suddenly, but he left very ruthlessly. After the heavy snow fell upon the land, Amos began to strictly control the amount of food he consumed. so this fish was like a lifeline to him. However, his longing for the perfect parabola of a fish biting the hook. It's unknown how many times the lake surface has been broken by ripples until after nightfall, and never has a single fish been willing to offer itself voluntarily. Amos, having achieved nothing, returned to the shelter. The cold and hungry night made him sit in front of the campfire. I still can't feel the slightest warmth. His empty and listless eyes left him at a loss as to how to deal with the days ahead. Amos has been racking his brains to get food these days. They waited anxiously until November. Even the temperature has dropped to minus 21 degrees. The lake surface still did not freeze as I had expected. Amos, who persisted for 58 days. Nowadays, the problem of food shortage has become extremely difficult. Plus, there were wolves nearby keeping a close eye on him all the time. Facing a difficult situation of being caught in a dilemma. Starving, he had already reached the point of relying on fire to keep warm. By this time, Amos had finished all the food, and now it's the third day of going hungry. So this forced him to pick up the call to withdraw from the competition. Just as Amos was waiting for the helicopter to pick him up, the shelter that accompanied him for 58 days. It seemed as if I had heard the voice of this Indian. Decide to do it in your own unique way. Come and offer it one last warmth.
Do not, please.
Seeing such a big fire, Amos' instinctive reaction was to scrape it with his hand. The speed at which the flames devoured was too fast. This bit of power is completely useless after he came to his senses and moved the valuable things in the shelter outside. At the same time, they also made every effort to move the firewood away from the fire source so as to avoid creating an uncontrollable situation. I watched helplessly as the shelter that had accompanied me for 2 months gradually turned to ashes here. My heart is filled with a bitter taste. They were all full of question marks. Amos explained that it really wasn't intentional. Both the camera and the memory card were completely saved. Only one box of batteries fell into the sea of fire. This man who emerged from the war in his hometown. In the end, it was still a merciless fire. Burned his dream of $1 million. But this 58-day extreme survival challenge in the Arctic Circle, but it made him feel a different kind of warmth from nature. And after Amos got home, I will also continue to love this incredible wilderness life, although they failed to win the championship title. But his composed and calm performance in the face of the wolf pack on the show, it still left a very deep impression on us. Really, let's talk about these last 4 contestants of the 7th season. It is highly likely that they are all very strong championship winners. It's a pity that the matching mechanism has matched a more powerful Roland. The scene shifts to Roland's side. He didn't start a food livestream today. Instead, a rare solo Rolling Stones concert was held. After singing a song, Roland decided to look for some berries. After all, if you eat too much meat, you still need to supplement vitamin C. But unexpectedly, there was a porcupine squatting in the berry field. Take this black stick down. Let this meal of berries be the porcupine's last feast. Perhaps it will never figure it out until it dies. Why can't both black bears and wolverines do anything to themselves? But he was subdued by a single move from this 2-legged beast from another place. Because the legs of porcupines are too short, they can only run 3 kilometers per hour. This forces them to protect themselves with their thorny feathers. And these spikes also have tiny barbs. Once it gets stuck in the skin, it is very difficult to pull it out, although it can resist being bitten by other animals. But this defense mechanism doesn't work when encountering powerful external forces. To prevent porcupine quills from pricking your hand, Roland dragged it back to the camp with a rope. In the blink of an eye, Roland spent 72 days in the Arctic. It so happens that today is also Thanksgiving Day in the United States on November 27th, and the little porcupine caught a few days ago. It just made up for the absence of having turkey today. At the same time, I am grateful to nature for its gifts. It is to express gratitude to the Indians for the year 1620, the earliest European immigrants to board the Mayflower. Help arriving in Plymouth, Massachusetts, North America. Teach them methods to identify edible wild vegetables, nuts, and so on. Help immigrants master the survival rules of the North American continent. Wait until the autumn of 1621. The Puritans reaped their first harvest, to express gratitude for the help of the Indians. At the same time, I'm also grateful for God's favor. They invited Massasoit and 90 Indians to celebrate the harvest together. This 3-day feast was regarded as the first Thanksgiving. Roland treats porcupines by roasting them over fire. First, they can shed hair more quickly without pricking your hands. Secondly, they can also retain all the fat in the porcupine to the greatest extent and completely. There is no need to use a knife to scrape off the fat adhering to the epidermis bit by bit. This way of handling things not only shows seniority, and it also fits his image of being bold and unrestrained very well. Many early Native American tribes dealt with it in this way. If the brothers usually survive in the wild, and if you accidentally catch a small animal, why not try this method to taste the most original flavor? After 2.5 hours of meticulous baking, the fattest and most delicious part of the pig must be the hind leg. Take this one bite.
Oh man, that is one fat, greasy bastard. Look at that.
It really makes one's imagination run wild. The intersection and integration of fat and lean meat, and put the crispy pigskin in your mouth together in an instant. The most original flavor of the meat explodes in the mouth. The texture is just right, rich, but not greasy. It made Roland keep exclaiming in admiration on the spot. This is much more delicious than the bonito beef that has been stored for over a month. Although I no longer have food anxiety problems. But every day he would come to the irritable lakeside to fetch water. But it became no small trouble for Roland. Water sources that are readily available on a daily basis. At this moment, however, it has become extremely dangerous and fraught with difficulties. The rocks on the shore, which have long been covered with thick ice, every step Roland took forward was extremely cautious. If one is not careful, one will then fall into the icy, 610-meter deep Danu Lake in such a terrifying moment. One has to go through it at least twice a day. You might be curious to see this. Why didn't Roland just take the snow on the spot, boil it to melt, and drink it as water? That's because snow is forming and falling. A large amount of pollutants will be absorbed during the process, including but not limited to animal feces, insect eggs, and bacteria. Even after boiling, there is still a possibility of causing acute gastroenteritis. This will thereby trigger diseases such as vomiting and diarrhea, further increase the risk of dehydration and hypothermia. After returning to the camp, Roland was going to boil the beef bones in his hand into a pot of thick broth. Because of the fat on the surface of the large bones, all of them were gnawed clean by the little mice hiding in the shelter during the winter when they weren't paying attention. This action made him a little angry, but there was also a bit of helplessness, because these behaviors of the mouse are exactly the same as their own current behaviors. Everyone is striving to survive, but Roland didn't have much pity here. To secure $1 million, always adhering to the principle of the big stick, sooner or later, this mouse will surely be caught. But for now, one still has to protect one's property well, because rodents cannot be eradicated completely, even in the cold Arctic. So in order to prevent the remaining porcupine fat from being eaten up completely, he took out the musk bag he had used to hold the mushrooms before, put all the current fat in, then hang it on the ceiling. Use the smoke produced by the bonfire for protection. It's the 68th day of Kelly's survival in the Arctic. The rapid drop in temperature. It made her pick it up since she participated in the competition. All the white boot rabbit furs captured. I custom made a unique vest for myself overnight. Yesterday morning, I couldn't help but stand in front of the camera, accompanied by that dynamic music, show off his meticulous craftsmanship to everyone in a unique leather vest. Her graceful dance moves bear a resemblance to those of her elder brother. However, Kelly said in a behind-the-scenes interview, this improvised dance, it is a tribute to the champion of the previous season, the 6th season, Michael Jordan. Although the white season is given to Kelly, quite a few white-hole rabbits were captured. But unfortunately, rabbits have very little fat. It is far from enough to support the daily consumption, so it led to a 20% drop in weight during this period. If the next physical examination day comes, one's own weight has entered the danger zone below the standard, then it would be completely out of reach of millions of dollars. After returning to the camp, after a careful analysis and reflection, Kelly still decided to take action. Although that porcupine was infected with tularemia, but when dealing with it oneself, already exposed to a pathogenic environment, I've been waiting for several days and still haven't shown any symptoms. As long as you don't eat the liver and kidneys, which are filtering organs, cook the rest of the meat thoroughly. There is a high probability that there won't be any problem. Besides, at this moment, I was already standing on the edge of a cliff. After all, life is inherently a risky gamble. Having won, I retired and returned to my field. Kelly deliberately simmered it at high temperature for more than 2 hours. The moment she lifted the lid of the pot, the steaming aroma of meat instantly wafted towards me. When the red lips longing for food touched the thick, oily broth again, a long-lost sense of satisfaction instantly filled my entire body. When the scalding thick soup shuttles back and forth in the body, tonight's Arctic cold night seems to have lost its usual chill. Even the next day, when cutting firewood, he was full of energy. But just after Kelly carried the firewood back to the camp, suddenly, a sharp pain came from the shoulder. At this point, any minor injury or pain will occur. It affected one's own performance in the competition. So after sensing something was amiss, return to the shelter immediately. Take off the clothes. I unexpectedly found that there was a root at some point. The porcupine's spines pierced into the fragrant shoulder. Kelly tried to pick it up with tweezers for a long time but couldn't get it out. Because the tips of porcupines have many tiny barbs, it's easy to get in, but hard to get out. Not to mention its tricky location. Fortunately, it was pulled out with the help of a knife. Kaylin, who was running out of food at the moment. After finishing the last fish head and tail that I was reluctant to eat, there will be no stock left. Next, will you go hungry or enjoy a state banquet? It all depends on whether Huzunyu will show any respect today. After dealing with the frozen food in the cushion, it's just a matter of waiting for the fish to bite. However, the long and boring wait let her keep nagging. I never thought that in such a short time, there would actually be a fish taking the bait. It seems that this time there is no favor from the heavens. The fish that was about to be pulled ashore was unhooked and ran away. It was he who won the hope and confidence of millions of dollars. The entire process from hooking to unhooking, just like the moment at the summit of a mountain, fall to the bottom of the uninhabited valley, because the fish hooks carried by the contestants do not have barbs. So this is a great test of fishing skills. More than 70 days of survival in the wild have caused her to lose 45 pounds. If this goes on, I'm afraid I really can't hold on any longer." After returning to the camp, she didn't cry as usual, released the stress of not getting food, but he sat very quietly. Before the campfire, I thought about whether to go or stay. Perhaps this is the last piece of tranquility before the storm. On the 76th cold night of the Arctic, when it was pitch dark, Roland came to the lake to clear his mind. He was drawn over by the sound of the frozen lake water squeezing. When ice forms on the lake surface, it makes a sound like thunder. Of course, the decibel level is definitely not achievable. The cold wind blowing on the face at this moment is like an ice knife cutting through the bones. But Roland really enjoyed this feeling. This means that the ice fishing trip on the lake will soon be available. Break the curse of your weakness in fishing. Thus, it becomes easier to obtain fat. But it also means the next more than 20 days, the living environment will also become even more extremely harsh. The frozen baton by the lake. It also reached Kelly. Make her carry an extra axe every time she gets water. After breaking through the ice layer, try to fill as much as possible. After all, every time water is taken, there is a great risk. While filling up with water, my mind was constantly daydreaming. A carnival fish feast after ice fishing and gill net opening. But I never expected that my body would encounter new problems again. After returning to the shelter, Kelly suddenly felt a sharp pain in her toes. It was not until she took off her shoes that she found her toes had turned purple from the cold. This is a sign of frostbite. It is skin tissue frostbite caused by long-term exposure to a low-temperature environment. Basically, no pain can be felt at all. Severe frostbite may lead to necrosis. Amputation is the only last resort. If the situation continues to deteriorate, she has to devote her energy to taking good care of her toes. At the same time, one should not walk in the snow for a long time and return to the shelter to rest. The frequency of warming by the fire will be even higher. This is the time when the Arctic is at dawn. It has been shortened to about 5 hours. This is undoubtedly a more severe challenge for the days to come. But thinking that I could get several million in just 20 days, Kelly decided to push her limits as far as possible and keep going. It's hard not to admire her strong willpower. When the sun rose again at the North Pole on the 80th day, Kaylin was wearing snowshoes she had woven herself. Step by step, I reached the hillside. During all these days since I came to the Arctic, she was always under the pressure of survival and dared not rest for a moment. Go and appreciate this place that she both loves and hates. Today, Kaylin finally let go of her tense nerves. Finally, I have the chance to appreciate this land, under the afterglow of the sun. How magnificent Danu Lake is at this moment. A firm thought took shape in her heart. She has decided to go back to her family. 80 days of extreme survival. In the end, I still couldn't get her to the finish line. Food, cold, injuries and illnesses. Every seemingly insignificant problem. All of this is gradually depleting her limits. Here, no failure can be relived, every choice. All of these may determine how long you can hold on. She didn't win that $1 million, but she at least proved one thing. In extreme environments, how far can a person hold on? It takes much longer than we imagined. In the environment of minus 40 degrees Celsius in the Arctic, if a person has no stable source of food, it won't last for 30 days. But Roland has been living here alone for a full 100 days. All the food must be obtained by oneself. And during the following period of time, it is this survival challenge, the most dangerous stage, when the sundial that was keeping time turned the early morning of the 81st day. To fight against the extremely cold weather, Roland has upgraded his equipment again. He deliberately took it out in front of the camera. A pair of gloves that are extremely impressive.
Black bear mitts.
There is also a small gray wolf fur hat. A pair of fishing gear was also contained in the warm cowhide shoulder bag. Roland is going to take on the challenge. Ice fishing, which I'm not good at. I'm afraid the ice surface won't be able to bear my weight of 200 pounds. I deliberately picked a 30-meter long stick to go ice fishing on the lake surface, in case on the way back and forth, I accidentally broke through the ice and fell into the lake. It is completely possible to use this pole to climb out of the water. I wouldn't have lost my life in this heartless Danu Lake. Walking on the lake, the gentle breeze is like an ice knife cutting through the bones. Both the beard and the brim of the hat were covered with a layer of frost. After safely arriving at the center of the lake, Roland immediately began to dig the ice cave. The history of ice fishing can be traced back more than 2,000 years. Native Americans would chisel through the ice and catch fish with harpoons, so as to catch sturgeon, pike, and other fish to make a living. Busy for a moment, a 40-centimeter square ice cave has been completed. In order to prove myself, Roland deliberately used top-quality wild-cut beef as bait. The main thing is that there is no other meat left. I hope the fish won't be ungrateful for such a good thing. However, it seems that today's luck is not so good. 2.5 hours of waiting. The bait is still in perfect condition. It seemed that the sky was getting darker. I'd better go back and continue eating that tasteless wild beef. Kelly also brought the good news that the lake was frozen over. This means there's no need to worry about eating that sick porcupine anymore. And there were even more delicious Huzun fish waiting for her. So she is also going ice fishing next. The temperature is minus 33 degrees. Let her put on that reindeer fur coat made by the Ninets people. Having spent so many winters in the wild, Kelly said this was also her first time trying ice fishing. It feels as if one has stepped into a brand new wilderness world. Ice layers about 10 centimeters thick. Let Kelly smash a 30-centimeter square hole. It all took nearly an hour. Then she took out the fishing gear she had carefully made. The fish hook was tied with rabbit hair and porcupine hair, and the pig kidneys that I dare not eat myself. There is also a lead pendant made of clay. When the fish hook poked beneath the ice layer, This fishing race against time has officially begun. While waiting for the fish to be served, Kelly kept telling the fish about the benefits of pig kidneys. And this is an extremely rare delicacy on Earth. In fact, fish can smell it. The smell of amino acids and bile seeping out from the bait. It will enable them to obtain food more precisely. But in the end, I had to wait for 2 hours. The fish were not only not attracted by the abundant oxygen and delicious food. Instead, I was frozen to death by that. My toes are a little numb, faced with such a predicament. Kelly is in a dilemma at the moment. On one side, one needs food to persist for 100 days to win the prize. On one side was his own critically ill and precious toe. This made her have to get up and move around after fishing for a while. Gangrene can occur in tissues that have been frostbitten and then frozen again. It is highly likely to cause necrosis and shedding of the toes. In the end, he returned empty-handed due to the cold and pain. There are still 17 days left until the end of the challenge. The current temperature remains at around minus 30 degrees. As time goes by, the entire Arctic can only be seen for a short 4 hours during the day. At this time, Kelly needs to finish a lot of daily work. Fetching water, ice fishing, traps, and cutting firewood. The tight schedule made her dare not slack off in the slightest. Kelly will fill her boots with water as quickly as possible. Make sure that the frostbitten toes will not become numb again. In contrast, Roland appeared much more composed. This was the confidence that the abundant food gave her. The extremely cold environment didn't have much impact on him. It is necessary to come to the lake to fetch water 3 times a day. It's enough to meet the demand for 1 day. The rest of the time, just stay in the stone house obediently and warm yourself by the fire. It's enough to wait quietly for the 100th day to arrive. Even a thick stone house, it still couldn't avoid the invasion of cold, although Roland used a curtain as a secondary defense. But there will still be a large amount of cold air drifting in, and the part that is slightly further away from the fire source, the wall was still covered with thick frost. Although I have also stored a large amount of firewood, it can ensure continuous burning for 24 hours. But the rate of consumption is also very fast. This allows him to be in the bright daylight from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It is necessary to hurry up and cut down enough wood. After all, the rest of the time was shrouded in darkness. The lonely and cold night always makes people can't help but daydream. Even Roland, as powerful as an ox, could not avoid it. An 18-hour-long night. Time flies. It was already the morning of the 86th day. Recalling the early days of the competition, Roland prevented himself from not getting food. I deliberately spent a lot of time collecting berries from 5 sections of the tree trunk. It was only today that I recalled I still have such a bunch of treasures. I originally intended to take out these berries and enjoy them to my heart's content. By the way, supplement the sugar that is the hardest to obtain at the moment. But when he peeled off the moss used for preservation, he found it. All these stored berries have shrunk and become moldy because Roland stacked 5 sections of tree trunks to the position of the food ceiling. Plus, the bonfire in the room never goes out for 24 hours. This leads to an increase in the indoor air temperature. It accelerated the moldy and deteriorating of these precious berries. There's no choice but to find another way now. So it made him think of the beef stomach he had cherished. The musk ox is a herbivorous mammal. In summer, the main food sources include sedge, moss, broad-leaved plants, etc. These plants are rich in water and nutrients. It can meet the growth and reproduction needs of musk oxen in summer and the undigested weeds in the stomach. At this moment, it was regarded as a treasure by Roland. These things inside are commonly known as cow shrimps, also known as bai tao tang. It is regarded as a commodity for entertaining guests by the ethnic minorities in Guangdong. Roland also learned about this aspect from books. Let Roland taste it for himself. I don't know if you can eat this appearance. Anyway, Roland's food was quite delicious, but after tasting this meal, she said there would be no second time. The 87th day spent in the Arctic. Kylina's positive mindset remains as optimistic as ever. Even in a state where food is in short supply, Kelly still wore her signature smile. At this moment, the sick pig has eaten up all its edible parts. If we still can't get any food, we are about to face a food shortage crisis. Perhaps it was her optimistic mindset that brought her good luck. Heavy snow blocks the mountains. The trap of no gains after a long absence. Today, I unexpectedly caught a rabbit. It is most appropriate to describe it as a timely help in the snow. This rabbit can not only fill its hungry stomach, and it can also provide 3,500 calories. At least I won't be woken up by hunger tonight. Return to the camp. Kelly immediately skinned the rabbit, dug out its belly, and cleaned it up. Then, on the lid of the pot, a portion of minced rabbit was fried in porcupine fat. The fragrance that wafted towards me immediately filled the entire shelter. Take 1 gulp. If there were a few more plump white-booted rabbits, there is no problem at all with the remaining 13 days. Under the erosion of loneliness, Roland's mood became a little down. However, at this moment, it was snowing and windy outside the house. Even breathing became extremely difficult. She has to endure the low temperature of minus 46 degrees to fetch water. Every step is as arduous as reaching the summit of a snow-capped mountain. During the coldest winter in the Arctic, this area receives an average of 7.5 inches of snowfall every day. The footprints just left will soon be covered. This made him just step onto the edge of the ice. The view ahead was lost. A very terrifying total albinism. Visibility is less than 10 meters. Moreover, there were no reference points on the ice surface at all. Just a minute ago, the trees along the shore could still be faintly seen. In the blink of an eye, it was a vast expanse of white. During this milky white phenomenon, the light is highly scattered, making it impossible to see the horizon. Once a person gets nervous, it is highly likely that one will lose their way. So, at this very moment, Roland must give up the water collection plan. Roland was still fortunate enough to return to the shore. Next time, I definitely won't go out to fetch water in a snowstorm. There are only 12 days left in the countdown, although the food problem was temporarily solved with the support of the white rabbit. But ice fishing still has to go on. After all, its fat content is twice that of chicken. Equipped with her gear, Kelly once again came to the surface of the Big Slave Lake, which she both loved and hated, to try ice fishing. Both her and Roland's lake surfaces were the last to freeze. If two plump and delicious lake fish can be caught, the last 12 days can be smoothly spent by keeping watch over the fire, if you can't catch it. She wasn't sure if she had left with a smile, still crying and regretting. However, one has to walk back and forth at regular intervals to keep the blood flowing smoothly, prevent the frostbitten toes from worsening again, regrettably. It seems that the heavens have not favored this girl who loves to smile. 2 hours of patient waiting still yielded no results. There was no longer any positive expression in Kelly's eyes. Instead, it is replaced by a sense of anxiety about being confused about the future. Such, a predicament. She really has no idea how to break the deadlock. She said she would definitely hold on until the very last moment. It will not actively press the red emergency rescue button. There are still 264 hours left until the 100th day of victory. Just when she found that the frostbite on her toe was getting worse, suddenly, a signal from the medical team's examination came through the satellite phone. It made Kelly frown instantly. She was extremely worried that her toe problem would lead to her being persuaded to leave. So quickly warm up your toes in front of the fire. At this moment, it was emitted by the high-speed rotation of the helicopter's propeller. The noise broke the long silent sky above the Arctic. As the medical staff of the program team set up the temporary examination tent, Kelly was extremely nervous. The moment I took off the socks and saw the frostbitten toes. At this point, Kelly's frostbite on her toe was deteriorating from grade 2 to grade 3. If the standard for grade 3 frostbite is reached, then the next challenge will be amputation. After checking both feet, Kelly sat where she was. The eyes were listless and at a loss. Because of the discussion result of the medical team, it will determine whether one stays or leaves. Ultimately, the medical team evaluated Kelly's condition, persuade Kelly to leave on the grounds that her toes are healthy. When the news that the game was over reached Kelly's ears, it was like a bolt from the blue that cut through her, a constantly tense yet hopeful state of mind. At this moment, this person has been in front of the camera all along, a girl who faces things positively and optimistically. I can no longer hold back the pent-up emotions in my heart. She burst into tears in front of everyone. But this survival challenge, it has never been won by willpower. Food supply disruption let her weight keep dropping, and the continuous low temperature. In the end, it still crushed her body, that frostbitten toe. It also became the last straw that broke her. In the Arctic, you can get through hunger, be able to endure loneliness. But once the body has problems, the competition has already ended. And in subsequent, undisclosed interviews, Kelly said that the frostbite on her toe had been treated for several months, and they wore bandages for a long time, although she has recovered. But therefore, they are also more sensitive to the cold. It is also more prone to frostbite. Therefore, extra attention should be paid to it in winter. At this point, only one person remains on the Arctic Circle track, but the competition is not over yet. Roland was not informed of Kelly's withdrawal from the competition, so he must keep going all out and persist until the 100th day. In order to get myself some collagen, Roland was also torn for a long time among the 4 ox hooves. Finally, the right front hoof was chosen. Tie the ox leg with a piece of iron wire, then throw it into the fire. Such a rough cooking method can retain the calcium that the human body needs most to the greatest extent. Although I still have a lot of food, but every piece of food is an important factor influencing the progress of the competition, so they must be utilized to the maximum extent. After 20 minutes of wilderness barbecue, the hooves of the ox, giving off a burnt aroma, rushed towards me, but it tastes a bit strange. I don't know if it was not handled thoroughly enough. It's just that smell of earth mixed with licorice. Because the long night in the Arctic lasts for 18 hours, let Roland, who has always been in pursuit of freedom, stay in this cramped and small stone house for a long time. He could only do his daily tasks and couldn't stop himself. Otherwise, one will constantly miss their family and their mind. When participating in this competition, Roland is already 48 years old, that once unruly wild horse that was hard to tame. I've also begun to learn to consider my family's feelings more. Nowadays, he has achieved success late in life. I feel that I owe my family something, especially his mother, who has always deeply loved him. To participate in this challenge, Mother was also unable to see her for the last time before her death, and this became his entire life. But spiritual emptiness. He made a small slope with snow in front of the door, then insert a pine tree to serve as a Christmas tree. For Roland, this was the most meaningful Christmas for her. It is also the most memorable thing in my life. Day 100, he finally waited for this moment. But this victory, it was never decided on the last day. But every time there is a shortage of food, on every extremely cold night, the result accumulated bit by bit. The Musk Bowl is just the beginning. What really kept him going until the end? It was the most difficult period later on. Food is decreasing, and the environment is deteriorating. People are also gradually approaching their limits. And it is the only one in a situation where all conditions deteriorate. Those who still persist until the end.